Jesse Slaughter with the Pursuit Podcast, and we have a really exciting episode today with Miranda and Zack of Fit Familia. This couple has an amazing journey that they're going to talk about, how they built an amazing, I don't even want to call it a gym. I want to call it a personal training experience. And they're going to talk about how they built their client base here in Great Falls and their local roots here, and a little bit about their personal experiences. This is really exciting. I cannot wait for everyone to see this. Also, they're releasing, be out by the time this episode airs, a fitness app called Time Fit, all based on the busy business person, single mom, working family, whatever you name it, to get time to get your workout in. But this isn't just a fitness app. It is a complete personal trainer in your pocket, dealing with nutrition and everything you need to gain your goals. I'm super excited about it. It's going to be a great thing for our community. Stand by.
9-foot pursuit. Stop! Sure! Stop!
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Good afternoon. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having
Jesse,
us.
Thank you for having us, and we really appreciate your time, man.
Absolutely. I appreciate your guys' time. I'm so excited about this podcast. I've been watching all the great things that you guys have been doing online. You've reached out to me a couple times. We've had a couple of conversations about all the great things that you're doing. And then we had this pre-conversation, and now I'm even more excited. I love talking about health and wellness. It's just so important.
Of course.
And it's this thing that, everybody knows in this country nowadays. It's lost.
Oh, yeah.
We have gone to a very crazy sitting down society of junk food, preservatives, and I'm sure we're going to talk about a bunch of that stuff. But before we jump into it, give me your guys' 10-minute background, where you came from, how you guys came to know each other, and then kind of how you started your business.
Sweet.
For sure.
I'm going to let him go first.
Okay, so I'm born and raised here. I went to high school here at Great Falls High, started there, and then 2 years into it, ended up transferring over to CMR. My dad was the high school head soccer coach. I was a big soccer guy here. In fact, that's how a lot of people knew me, back in the day, kind of growing up, is the soccer guy. And, once I ended up graduating from high school, I had an opportunity to go play soccer overseas. It was just a passion of mine since I was about 5 years old. And when I ended up going over, I went over to play for Richmond International Academic and Soccer Academy. And when I started there, it was a big eye-opener, a lot faster game playing overseas, especially in the UK. We were based in Leeds, England. And, within 9-10 months, I ended up signing for a professional club, Bradford City. I played for their under-23s for about 3 years. And then I ended up moving to the south of Spain, where I continued to play my soccer career at Marbella FC. And things really started to flourish for me there. But I did end up taking on a very serious injury between playing for Marbella FC and then UD San Pedro, which was a little bit of a lower club. And I actually tore my hamstring. And so during that period where I had to be, a better teammate and really dig deep, mentally, I had been playing since, 3, 4, 5 years old. And, at this point, I'm about 25, 26. And everything that I've put into life up to that point is just like taken away from me, basically. And having to watch people, do what you love, and athletics and fitness and health in general just being a huge part of my life. I actually understudied our head trainer there, and that's where I really started to pick up, how to actually start training people properly, prepping them for, their regimens for health and nutrition and their fitness regimen. And for a short period of time there, I actually was ahead of their academia side. So prepping, the academy athletes to start getting ready for the professional side of the game. And so I sat underneath him for about half a year. And then I realized that, my soccer career and where I was at and kind of a little bit depressed, I decided to actually move back to the U.S. and I came back home, and that's what brought me back.
How long did you live overseas
So I lived there
altogether?
Well, we weren't together at the time.
No, I'm sorry, altogether is what I said.
all together. So I moved over about 2012, and I moved back in like early 2018.
Oh, so quite a while.
Yeah. So I was playing over there for about 5 years, something like that, maybe a little bit.
That
maybe a
sounds
little
like
bit
an
more.
incredible experience, though.
Yeah. And so definitely incredible experience. That's where, I started taking weight training and, the physicality side of it a lot more serious, because I went over there at 5'7" and I'm maybe like 120 pounds, and I noticed right away that getting pushed off the ball, having to step up my game, and being able to actually experience, that professional side of training, was able to actually help me, even when I came back home and started like more of my fitness career, basically, as a coach. And so my whole health and wellness has started since I was a young boy, just through athletics, but even more so flourishing, being able to actually have that experience under like some of the top trainers,
Right.
and
Right.
being able to experience that. But when I moved back, for a short period, I was very, very lost. I mean, I go from doing what I love and achieving my dream and, thinking that I'm going to play that hopefully for as long as I can or the rest of, my life. And then moving back and shortly after, having a son and stepping into fatherhood and very lost at that point, I ended up getting a free voucher to go in and try the Peak for a 30-day membership. And I just started working out. I needed to build up my mind. I needed to build up my body.
Right.
Because that at that point, was really kind of like my rock bottom, I guess. Just not really knowing what I should be doing or just super lost. And what really saved me is fitness. And so rolling into that and just really making sure that I could build myself up and, focus on me for a little while and kind of escape the fact that I wasn't the soccer guy anymore. It was my escape. It was my bliss. So every time I would step into the weight room was my freedom. It was just like if I was going to step back onto the pitch, like you feel like you're on top of the world, for that 90 minutes or for that hour that you actually step in, you're just completely free.
Oh yeah, it's like therapy for sure.
Yeah, and you really like if you were even having a bad day or whatever, or you were stressed out because you had a lot of things going on, like that's your time to just let it all go and let it all out, especially on the stress side of things. But ended up walking up to Jamie Galbraith one day, which he was a mentor of mine and a great coach and somebody that I love and respect a lot. And I asked him for a job and, worked for the Peak for 2 years, and the rest is kind of history after that, And, my time at the Peak, learned a lot under some great trainers. Don Johnson, we were having a great conversation about him. He was a great mentor of mine, even growing up, doing the karate thing and, just the discipline side of things.
Absolutely.
And so, but, now kind of rolling forward here past soccer and coming through some challenges, my second year at the Peak, life was really moving forward very quickly. And this kind of brings Miranda into my life. My angel, she really saved me. And in all reality, if I wouldn't have met her and, met Jamie, Dawn, and reconnected with all these people like at the Peak, Fit Familia would have never been born. Because through these guys, they really inspired me to be a great trainer. I learned a lot while I was there. I even got to run my own program called Move. Me and Jamie started over at the West Bank. And I just fell in love with helping people and helping them get through their challenges.
Absolutely.
I utilized fitness to really help them, just overcome what they were going through, really helping them just let it all out, like that stress relief. Sometimes you're a little bit more of, you're just listening in, And then other times you're putting your arm around them and saying, hey, you can do this. Or other times you're pushing them and saying, hey, you can do better. So there's always that like tough love aspect as well.
Absolutely.
But 2 years in, like I said, life was kind of moving forward. I met Miranda, and shortly after we found out that we were gonna have a kid together.
That was a surprise. I was not ready for it, but it all worked out.
But then I sat down and had a real conversation with the Lord. I'm a man of faith, and I was praying, and I just asked him, what I should be doing. The peak is great, and I'm helping a lot of people, and driving a lot of people into a very nice facility, but at the same time, it wasn't going to take care of me and my family. There was only going to be a certain point that I could go. Right. And I feel like within the 2 years, I was already hitting that point. And so I felt that I needed to step away. And, me and Miranda had a very serious conversation about it. And I told her, I'm gonna quit my job, and I'm gonna start my own, fitness business. And this is right around, 2021 now.
Right.
A couple
I'm
years
pregnant.
later, after I gotten back, and even within that 2-year period, just being all over the place, and then finally coming to, a resolution with myself and how I can help people and, be a positive for the community. I think that's the most important for me.
Absolutely.
Is to really give back through, my experience as, professional athlete, as well as, just trying to be a leader within the community as well. And so once we started thinking about Fit Familia that it is now, it didn't start out like that. Like, you can speak on this. I mean, we would be in our apartment
With our notebook,
living
writing
room.
down different ideas, saying what we were going to do, how we were going to make it work. I mean, we would be in the shower, washing our hair, talking about this is how we're going to do it. How's the meal plans going to go? How are we going to, just different packages that we could come up with, and just different things that inspire us. And it's just so cool to see it all come together. And this guy, he is a workhorse. Like,
Oh, yeah.
he is nonstop. And I just knew right away when he said, I think I want to do this. I was like, I was scared. I was pregnant. I was like, we need to take care of our family. At the time, I'm a bartender. I'm like, I mean, we got to do something. And if you think you can do this, I'm on your side. I believe in him more than anybody. And I just
That's
knew
awesome.
that, I knew he could do it. And sure enough, I mean, look at him.
You have an intensity about you. And
Yeah.
it was funny. I was trying to figure it out. So I was
He is
excited.
intense. Everyone says that.
No, you do. But I knew it came from something. So
I'm a competitor, man.
right? No, I could tell.
You know?
But I was interested to have you on to kind of figure out. And now, professional athlete, all these different things, going through some trials and doing these things, and I'm starting to put the pieces of the puzzle together a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
But you're a very intense personality. I remember, I don't know if I first met you at like the fair or something like that.
No, we were at Schulte's. No,
Was it Schulte's?
it was Double Barrel.
Double Barrel,
You
okay.
were like promoting something.
Okay.
I believe.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, and you started talking to me, and I remember just thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, you're intense.
Yeah.
Like, I can sense that really quickly about people, and I was like, okay, and not in a bad way. Just like I admire that in people, but that makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah.
That's
no,
why he's so good at what he does.
So Miranda, where did you grow up?
So my story is nowhere near as interesting and cool as that. Like, I'm no professional athlete, but I come from Washington. I grew up in Vancouver. My dad lived in California, so I was back and forth between the two. I wasn't super into sports. I think I come from a different type of family. I didn't come from like money, like I was saying earlier. And I enjoyed dancing, so I kind of dabbled in that, but I really had a lot going on, and I really struggled with anxiety since I can even remember. Like, it was a huge thing for me. They wanted to put me on all these meds when I'm young. I would never have anybody do that as a kid. Like, it's just not,
Right.
Your brain is still developing. Like, you just need a family that is really gonna, instill the things like your father did in you, and just like really take care of you and be in a good home. And that's what we're doing for our kids. But I struggled. I was very overweight as a kid. I ate whatever I wanted to. I got super chubby, and I got made fun of a little bit, just like your average little cute chubby kid. And it turned into a little bit of a problem. But as I turned into about like middle school, I kind of, I mean, you know, you're like, I want a boyfriend like these other girls.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's cute, whatever.
Yep.
And I just decided that I wasn't going to eat, and I was going to diet, and I was going to lose a bunch of weight. And I did. I got really skinny. But it actually caused a health issue, and I ended up in the hospital.
Jeez.
So that was an eye-opener, and I had to go through some treatment and stuff like that. And it wasn't like, you wouldn't even have thought like, oh, this girl is so tiny, like she's anorexic. But it was unhealthy to the point where it was affecting my heart.
Right.
And I was very skinny. So I think that it just really pushed me to be more active, realize that like, hey, you got to eat, and you really need to take care of your body because it's a machine, and like you need to fuel yourself. And honestly, I think most of my anxiety and all the problems that like most of you think that you have, like you're not taking care of yourself. You're not hydrating.
Absolutely.
I never drank water. I was like, oh, I'm going to weigh more if I step on that scale. I drank too much water. And so like not eating enough, I mean, your body needs that. And I think it messes with our mental a lot. And that's part of it. When I started eating better, I felt like a better human, just all in total different person when you're actually fueling yourself. And I mean, I did struggle with it throughout. It doesn't just go away. I think there's a lot of people that have dealt with this, and there's a lot of teens that kind of like, they don't realize it, but they're not taking care of themselves just because they want to be skinny. They want to look good or whatever, but that's just not the right way to do it. And even when I was in high school, I had another scare where I ended up in the hospital from doing it. And after that time, when I spent my whole spring break in the hospital, irritated, I realized that, you know what, you need to get into fitness, start working out. If you want to look a certain way, like chase strong. Don't chase this skinny, like be a strong woman, like take care of your body. And it just really took a lot for me to understand that. And now that's what I really want to show other women is like, you don't have to be a little stick. I think it was very in at the time, like coming from my time was being skinny, but you just, you know, I want to show women that they need to take care of themselves, gain some muscle, eat. Don't be scared of food. It's fine. Eat the protein.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think we're all so scared that like, oh, I can't eat that much protein because I'm going to get fat. Well, no, you're not. Just eat it. Right. You'll be fine. And you'll actually see that body that you're chasing you're not going to get there by restricting calories and not eating and doing, 5 miles on the cardio machine. That's what I would do. I'd run. I would just run. I was so skinny, just keep running. And you're going to get the body that you want from lifting heavy, progressive overload, just lifting those weights and eating and recovering properly and staying hydrated. And
so how old are you when you kind of start to figure all this out?
So it happened for me probably my junior year. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of forced into weightlifting because I had two options for my last elective. And I was like, I guess I'll do weightlifting. And I kind of had a crush on my teacher. I was like, he's kind of cute. And he was older or whatever, but I was like, I like him. He's funny and whatever. So he actually showed us all how to properly lift weights and how to use a bar. And I could barely lift 35-pound bar and do a proper squat or anything like that. But when I did, I think it was so empowering that I was like, dang, I can lift that. Like I couldn't even do that. And now I have like 25s on each side.
It is very, I will say there's probably nothing more empowering than lifting heavy weights.
Yeah.
It is.
Like,
it just makes you feel like, oh my gosh,
you get that rush. Like when you hit that PR, you're like, dang, okay. Like, let's see what else I can do. And you just want to keep pushing it. But that's probably where I really fell in love with the weight room and just how I felt. And I started seeing a little bit of a change in my body. And even like we were talking about earlier, posture. Like I used to walk around like this, hunched over. I was so skinny. And then as I got a little more muscle, I started walking different. I had my shoulders back. I mean, it was, you can just tell when somebody
Absolutely.
is.
I agree. So how'd you get to Montana? How'd you make that journey?
Well, like I said, I didn't grow up in like the best environment, I would say. I think my parents really, really tried, and I love them more than anything, no matter what. Like they're great and they're amazing. But I thought I needed to get away and get with a guy. He was in the military. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to go have this best life ever in Great Falls, Montana. Everybody telling me not to get married. And the more people said don't do it, I was like, I'm like that, though. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do it anyways. And it's going to be awesome. And you're going to see. It wasn't. I don't recommend
really
anybody.
young, you know?
I was too young. I don't recommend anybody get married at 18. I mean, it works for some people. Like, good on you. I really appreciate that love that you have and how you were able to do that. But I was nowhere near mature enough.
Right.
It just didn't work out. But I'm glad it brought me here because now I'm with Zach and we have our beautiful daughter. But that's kind of what brought me here. And then after it didn't work out, I just enjoyed Great Falls. I kind of had a life here and friends and I guess I can't really say I had much of a life here, but I thought I did. I was just living. I was hanging out. I was having fun being a bartender. But I mean, I wasn't going to be a bartender forever.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
I needed to do something else.
Yeah.
But I think that just having that money on hand when you're a bartender, a lot of people, they're just like, hey, it's easy. Like, it's not easy. You are working, but like, you get that quick money. But what happens when you get it is you go and spend it because you know you're going to get more tomorrow. And so I was super immature and I had a lot to learn and I had a lot of room for growth. And
I don't think Dave Ramsey teaches like bartender savings.
No, he needs to. He really does because I could have had such a savings when I got pregnant and I realized I needed to start saving money. And this gambling thing y'all are doing, it is not good.
Yeah.
Stop doing it.
No kidding.
Because it is a waste.
Kidding.
But I saved so much money by just like not spending what I had in cash and just putting it away. It was like, wow, I actually saved quite a bit so that we could, and thank God for him. He, when you're a bartender, you don't get like pregnancy leave.
Yeah,
obviously.
exactly. Yeah.
But this guy,
they don't have those benefits.
no, but he saved money. I saved money, and he really made it possible for me to stay home for like, I don't know, 2.5 months with our daughter.
That's amazing.
He did that for us. And then he found me a different job. I actually worked at Benefits for a little bit. They were great. I really enjoyed that. But I'm not the type of person that can just sit. Obviously, I was a bartender. I was all over the place.
Right.
And I got a little bit, I need to move. I need to do things. So sitting at a desk was miserable for me, and in a little cubicle where I'm like, nobody's around and I'm just zoning out on a computer, which sedentary jobs are so hard.
Yeah,
I don't know how people do it. It's just
hard.
It is. It's hard to focus for that long. And I mean, I was very envious of him. I'm like, I love fitness. I love lifting. I cannot believe that you get to do that every single day. Like, I want to do that.
Where I saw a great fit. So earlier you talked about my intensity.
Yeah.
But you really get the yin yang with her sweetness.
Absolutely.
And the way we work together is like a smooth running machine.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And I already knew that she was very, very into fitness and taking care of her body. And now that you get to hear a gist of her story, I was like, we need to have you come join me. Like, your story by itself it's beautiful, man. You know, I mean, for us and for anybody, how you start is, you know, there's some challenging times.
Right.
I think that's always going to make us better.
Yeah.
And where you really start to find yourself or, you know, find a niche or what direction you're really supposed to take. And through her hardest times and, you know, being a new mom and going through postpartum and everything else, fitness or health and wellness in general was so important to her. And I saw that, you know, nothing against the sedentary job or that industry or anything like that.
Right.
You know, but I was just like, babe, you got to take the leap.
Oh, I was
You
scared.
know,
I was scared.
and at that point, you know, we were probably 6 months into our new business. We finally landed the name Fit Familia, something with some spice. I mean, family to us is everything. That's why we called it Fit Familia.
Right.
Because we want everybody that walks through our door to feel like they're our brother and sister in fitness.
Right.
We want them to feel like they're a part of our family. And so, you know, when we captured the name and now we're at this point, 6 months in, I mean, I'm working 7 days a week, 10 to 12, maybe 14 hours a day.
Right.
And, you know, when I walked away from the peak, you know, I was in another place, you know, renting a space, training all of my clients out of it. And in the first 3 months, you know, I mean, I walked away from the peak with like 40 plus clients, and they all followed me because they liked the style. They did like the intensity, you know.
Yeah.
Because you need that in a coach.
You do.
You know,
You
I
can
mean,
have
you-
someone
you
saying,
walk-
"Oh, good job."
You
when
walk
you're
into
not.
the room and you're getting coached by somebody. I mean, especially for yourself. I mean, I
Yeah.
can only imagine you in the weight room. I mean, you're a very intense guy yourself. And so you're not going to want, oh, Jesse, you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
You know?
You got to push them.
Feel
push them to
placated.
do more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. yeah.
Exactly. And so, you know, how this all came together, and, you know, like I said, 6 months into it now, and I was like, whoa, I don't know how much longer, you know, I can take on all these clients. I'm already working 7 days a week, hours on end. I'm missing a lot at home. But at the same time, my drive was my family. You know, I'm not doing this for me.
What you're providing.
Yeah. I'm doing this for my family, and I'm doing it for the people that are coming in.
Absolutely.
You know, like every person that walked through that door or our door now, I mean, we both have a connection with. Like, that is our family. You know what I'm saying?
We've
And
met so many great people through this
Oh, yeah.
business,
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
actually our very close friends. And like we
Yeah.
do actually a lot of stuff with them outside of the gym.
That's
Like
awesome.
it's great.
Yeah, we have a lot of, you know, events and whatnot, but and we were about to actually leave to California. We were gonna go see her family. And you know, it was 6 months into the new year, but I had been doing it for like 9 or 10 months. Because
Yeah,
I started in 2021, like late November, like I said, like more closer to the Thanksgiving.
Right.
So right towards the end of the year, like not a very great
Yeah, it's
way to
Christmas
start. but
right around
yeah.
the corner. Are we gonna have money?
But
or
yeah,
what?
exactly. And then we get to June of the following year, and she's like, "Man, you're working your tail off. I'm not really liking this." And we were having a conversation back and forth. I was like, "Hey, you just got to make the jump." And you know, when we went on the trip, we talked more about it. And when we got back, when we were on the trip, we let the industry that you were working in know that, hey, she wasn't going to be coming back.
Right.
That she was looking for a different outlet. And when we first got back, that was her first day.
That's awesome.
And
Well-
and now we've been.
Actually, while I was working at Benefice, I was coming in the morning before my shift and after work and doing a couple clients.
Okay, yeah.
So I did kind of dabble in it before I left, and I think that's what kind of said, like, dang, I actually really enjoy this. And I think I can make that leap because, I mean, I love fitness, and to be able to do it every day and help people and see them just
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
flourish and enjoy the process and feel better about themselves it's huge for me, because we both have been to where we feel horrible about ourselves. We have no motivation for anything at our lowest times, and lifting and getting more fit had really helped change our life and our mindset, and just made us stronger all around. And I think you can learn a lot about yourself in the gym, period.
So I have so many questions just off this first part. I'm sorry. This is
Yeah,
so.
no,
first
let's hear it.
First of all, amazing story of how, you know, you guys come to be. So, where's your location at this time? This rental location?
Oh, okay. So we're located up by Malmstrom Air Force Base.
Is that where you were at the very beginning?
No,
Okay.
I
where
was
were you?
actually renting a spot from Falls Fitness.
Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha.
With Amber.
Okay.
But it got to the point where, falling back now, you know, the first 3 months there, not only did I take my clients with me from the peak, but I signed up 35 more people.
Right.
You know, and it got to the point where I wasn't able to do one-on-ones all day long anymore.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I was like running
You don't have the
full-on
hours in the
classes.
day.
Yeah.
But then it was to the point where, you know, we're maxing out a space that we're renting, and she gives me a nudge, and she's like, hey, man, you know, I don't know how much longer we can really do this, you know?
Right.
So I'm like, oh, man.
Because you're cutting into her bottom line, basically.
100%.
Yeah, stuff she needs to
You're
do.
overgrowing her.
100%. And so that was the first real bump in the road for me.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I came home and I'm like, hey, she's kind of giving me the nudge and saying she doesn't know how much longer I can have this many people rolling in here. And, you know, I had a very serious conversation with her, and I literally called every single gym in town looking for a place like, hey, you know, what would be my options to rent a
Right.
space?
Where
Like,
can
I
I
have
land?
this many people, you know, this is the operation I'm trying to run. Is it possible to do this alongside you or in your facility? And we labeled down a couple different opportunities. And the last option, I ended up calling Willie Weaver, who owns the lot and the facility that we're in right now. And we rent from him. And I said, hey, this is the dilemma I'm in. You know, I've called every gym in town. At that point, you know, I didn't want to spend an arm and a leg just for the facility.
Right.
And so I was really looking for, you know, a good deal, basically, you know? And he's like, hey, you know, I've known you, you know, since you were a small kid. You've competed in sports against my sons. You know, you were in high school with Tyler and Eric. And he's like, why don't you just come check out the gym and you can tell me what you think? And I was in a spot where my back's against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I quit my job.
Yeah.
I burned all the boats on the island. I got to survive. I have 2 kids at this point, and we're at the point of like, well, everything's going great, but now we're on the verge of plummeting to nothing.
Yeah.
And so my stress level, I mean, you can ask her. I came home and I didn't even have words.
Yeah.
You know, I could barely speak. And she's like, whoa, like what's going on? I said, I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to stay in Falls Fitness right now.
Yeah.
You know,
We're like,
I don't know if this operation's going to, you know, pan out for me now.
Time to go to Planet Fitness.
You know, something, you know.
Right.
But, you know, I ended up getting a hold of Willie. I walked into that gym and I said, hey, what do I have to do to land this, man? And so we negotiated, ended up signing a little bit of a contract. And then, you know, it was actually like the last week of February rolling into the first week of March. My birthday is March 2nd.
Yep.
Like that Friday, you know, we ended up landing the gym, and I call all of my clients. I said, hey, we're shifting to a new location. Okay, Monday morning, we're starting in a new location. Here's the address, and we're gonna keep this operation going. And we are still there today.
Wow.
We're still there, you
That's
know,
awesome.
as
Yeah.
of today. And I can tell you this, you know, if Willie or his family are watching this show,
I was just about to
you know,
say.
he is a true blessing in my life, man.
He has
I would
helped us
not-
more than he knows.
I would not be able to provide for my family / you know, give my wife an opportunity to work alongside me if it wasn't for him and if he didn't actually give me the opportunity to step inside that gym. And it's provided a 1980s powerhouse feel
Yeah.
to where you have all these clients coming in, you know, and we're in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And there's people that are like, whoa, where's this guy taking me? You know?
Yeah,
You're
it's
going
not
into this
relaxing or anything
private
fancy.
lot, you know, gated area, and they're parking in front of, you know, a Fit Familia gym. At first it was Power Source Gym.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, what am I getting myself into here? You know, and they walk in and they're like, okay. Like old iron weights, like with the mats, like on the floor. I'm talking like proper 1980s.
Yeah.
Like
They're like, you
I
better be
know-
good or I'm leaving.
Yeah, I know it sounds ironic, but like it's a hidden gem.
Right.
You know, I mean, we're way out by the base, connected to all state signs, and we've turned that place into something that is very, very special in the community. You know, and now that you kind of understand, you know, where we come from and a small portion of our story. I mean, we could go on and on and on. And I mean, there's
It's
so
a
many
lot.
pieces to this story, but I think the whole dilemma with the facility was like the first big nudge of, Zach, are you going to do this or are you going to turn away and,
Absolutely.
fall, basically?
God gives us adversity to
100%.
grow.
Yeah.
100%.
And if you aren't willing, if you decide to step off and go do something new, something courageous, it's going to likely go well for a little bit. And then all of a sudden, God is going to challenge you.
Dude,
And-
challenges never stop.
And part of it is what's your willpower, what's your desire, are you really in? And then the other thing is that's how he opens the door for you.
100%.
You know, and
I believe that.
another door was open for you.
Yeah, we always say failure. I mean, there's not truly failure unless you
Give up.
give up, and then you failed.
Absolutely. No, I struggle. I always struggle with the term failure. I think it's either you give up or you didn't learn anything from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you keep making the same mistake over and over again and you're not figuring it out, then okay, well, that's really failure. But
Yeah,
if you're
you just learn
learning from it, and you know, I've even seen people who have had to lose a business, like totally go out of business, but they came back to something else and they're like 10 times better than they were
Yeah.
before because it's like, I figured it out.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I mean, my
You learn your
parents,
mistakes.
when I was a kid growing up, they were very successful restaurant owners, and they got in a bad partnership, and they had to like sell both the businesses, and they never really. My dad was a sheriff actually in Gallatin County, but this was kind of my mom's thing, but my dad helped, but they never really recovered from that on the business side of it, and I always wish they would have, because it's like, well, what did you learn? You learned that, you know, sometimes you can have a bad partner and that can wreck shop. You
Hey,
know?
that wrecks
So-
a lot of people's
Oh,
business.
it does. Partnerships are hard.
Yeah.
If people, it is tough. It's a lot of interests involved, and
Yeah.
it can be extremely
That's true.
difficult. So no, that's an amazing story. So some of the other questions I was kind of curious about when you both were talking, when do you find time to work out?
Dude,
So-
during the day.
Because I know you do.
we have to.
So this is super important because at this point, with how busy we were, this is really why I actually created the program that has really built a face for us in the community. You know, our first year and last year being recognized as the best weight loss center in Great Falls, you know, first 2 years of business. We came to a dilemma of like, okay, when are we going to work out?
Yeah.
You know?
Like, I need to.
And the thing
See,
is,
that would be my biggest worry about being in the fitness industry, is like you're so focused on helping others. You know, it's that
lose
whole
yourself.
like put your oxygen mask on yourself before you help someone else on the airplane.
Yeah.
You know, it's that mindset. But I would worry, that would be my paranoia.
yeah.
And then you think, oh, I have to have abs. I have to look a certain way. But I mean,
The thing,
you really
the thing
don't.
is, though, it's that our industry is not so different from yours. And the first responders, military, the superheroes of mom and dads out there, the medical side of things, the lawyers, we're all busy.
Yep.
But what we recognized was time is one of the biggest challenges that most people face. Okay, there's several others, but time was like, you know, when I'm on a sales call or somebody's getting on the phone with me or I'm introducing them to my program, the number one factor is like, oh, I don't know if I have the time for that. Okay, well, we need to come up with a solution where we provide a service that is actually going to help these busy people, you know, with their self-care. And yes, I noticed it firsthand. Working 7 days a week and then finally having her in to help, but still, you know, we're working 5-6 days a week. We've dropped it down to 5 now. But, you know, time was just escaping. And there was a lot of days where I wasn't working out. And then I'm like, well, how can I be a face of a fitness business and I'm not working out, but I'm training everybody else? This is going to be impossible. And so that's where I ended up creating Time Fit. So that's where Time Fit actually stems from. And we created it to allow busy people, not just in this community, but all over the world, to actually find how to work out sustainably.
So
And-
give me a quick rundown of Time Fit.
Okay.
So, because I'm super curious, and I'm sure everyone watching is too. Like, give us a quick-
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the rundown on Time Fit, they are 10 to 30 minute workouts
Okay.
of true time under tension. Okay. The mass majority of people, when they walk into the gym, they're going to spend 90 minutes to 2 hours in the gym.
Right.
Okay. But the people that I coach or our niche, that high performance professional or the busy lives of the world, they don't have that time.
And
they don't have the time to, span out 2 hours out of their day when they have to be back at the office or back with the kids or whatever else.
Yeah, and they're not trying to be bodybuilders here. I know there's bodybuilding training, and maybe this wouldn't work for a bodybuilder, but for your average person who is busy and has a very busy life. I know, like, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, but we don't. Like, we really don't. All of our lives are so different.
That is true.
Absolutely.
And I mean, nobody's 24 hours is the same. You can ask a mom, you can ask a business owner, and everybody is different.
Absolutely.
As far as how much time they have. So that's where this came
to fruition.
It's
The other thing is too, when you go into the gym and you work out, or the mass majority of people, most people are gonna say, okay, I'm gonna do 10, 12, 15 reps, or on the overload side of things, they're doing 3 to 6 reps or whatever it may be, and then it's done. But a lot of people, when they go in and have that mindset of, okay, I'm just gonna do 10 reps, most people are just gonna stop at the 10 reps, even though that they had 2, 5, 10, 20 more reps in them. And so we started looking at, if time was such a big issue, that we need to hit this head on. All of our workouts and exercises need to be timed then, okay? Instead of the rep side of things where you could blast through 10 reps in 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds if you're controlled and a veteran and you're breathing through it and maximizing tension. But at the same time, most people are just gonna go in and lift as fast as they can. And they're really missing out on the true time under tension side of things.
Right.
Where you're gonna get the efficiency of the workout, be intent with your movement, and really maximize results.
Describe time under tension.
So time under tension is the amount of time that you're actually spending underneath the exercise.
Okay.
So when you maximize tension, let's say for, a squat, you're in your 90 degrees at the bottom of the squat and then coming back up, right? And so within each exercise, there's gonna be a cap point for tension.
Right.
And so most people, when they go through that, they're lifting at a speed that is too fast to actually get the true efficiency out of the exercise.
Okay.
And so to get out of that framework and mindset, TimeFit was created to have every exercise be a minute long. So for an example, have you ever done a bench press for a minute?
Just like how multiple reps? Is that what you mean?
yeah, just for a
Yeah.
minute.
Oh yeah,
Keep
no, that's
going.
an eternity.
Okay, it is.
Yeah, that's a long time.
It is a long time.
Yeah.
But what we found is the people that were coming out of the gym just doing the rep side of things and not maximizing tension and the minute is just set, or 30 seconds is just set so that it keeps them within the exercise. But we don't even do traditional exercises. We've put together combo movements that build out our core concepts or our philosophy of the way we work out our clients. And so those core concepts include overall strength to optimize, fat loss. And then we have indirect cardiovascular, indirect core, flexibility, coordination, balance, and stability. So you're getting an all-in-one workout in a 10 to 30 minute time period instead of having to go to the gym for 2 hours on end. And once we started implementing this philosophy, not only was it more sustainable for all the busy people that we were working out with, but they were also seeing faster results because they're not just blowing through their workouts.
Well, you got to think they're going for a minute, and maybe what they're doing is hard, and it gets to 45 seconds, and they realize a lot of people don't push till failure. There's
absolutely.
they just do not, and it's
Absolutely.
important to not every time to push to full failure, but maybe almost failure. You want to be pushing.
Absolutely.
And so if you go that whole minute and then you realize I can't even get one more. And so you really are pushing until failure and you're getting the most out of your workout.
But it's without pushing them to a sense of you're standing over the top of the person saying, hey, 5 more, whatever. Mass majority of the people
Depending on the day.
are not going to be able to lift for the whole minute, and they'll take small breaks and get back into it.
Right.
But you're really having that influence of failure and giving them an intensity that they didn't know that they had within them.
Your health journey is as unique as you are. The Peak Great Falls has everything you need for your fitness journey. They are your partner in wellness with a top-notch facility, an expert staff, and a very welcoming vibe. Locally owned, community driven. Join them today. Everybody needs a good insurance plan. Whether it's for home or auto insurance, check out Heinbaugh Agency. Eric Heinbaugh is a local agent focused only on customer service, not sales. The Double Barrel Cafe is all about you, the amazing people of Cascade County. With every purchase you make, they give back to our community. Every bite and sip fuels their mission. Let's make a positive change, one cup and one bite at a time, because the Double Barrel is not just a cafe, they're building a better community. If you haven't noticed lately, Cascade County is booming, and the choice for all your construction needs is Builders First Source. They even have an automated home builders solution for all of your construction needs. Go to 826 Northwest Bypass in Great Falls and check them out today. Are you looking to replace those floors in your home? Or maybe you're doing new construction? The place I trust is Contract Flooring Carpet One. This is a locally owned and operated business here in Great Falls, and they are committed to serving you and giving you the very best prices and the very best product and service. Go see Contract Flooring Carpet One today. If you love a farm-to-table experience as much as I do, then you have to go to the Roadhouse Diner. The local McCafferty Ranch beef served on every burger. Try my personal favorite, Death by Bacon, today. When deciding who I would trust for the technology component of this podcast, the choice was simple: Information Systems of Montana. Whether purchasing products for business or when I had them build me a new MacBook to catch child predators, they delivered, creating a solution for my exact needs. Contact Information Systems of Montana today. If you're passionate about firearms and the Second Amendment like I am, one of the best places in all of Montana to go is Mitchell Supply. Jim and Tammy Mitchell have been running this gun store for decades. They're major supporters of the Second Amendment, and they're major supporters of our community. And obviously, they're supporters of this podcast. For all your firearms needs, go check out Mitchell Supply today. So, and I think, you know, when the CrossFit phase was so big,
100%.
you know, and I mean, I got into it and I did it from like 2012 to like 2016, 17 is when I really pushed it.
Did you have any injuries?
And that was, no, I didn't. I came close a couple times where, you know, I took a couple days off to kind of make sure I didn't blow something out or hurt myself. But no, nothing major. But the reason I liked it was I was a police detective working internet crimes against children at the time. I was busy. I mean, I was crazy busy. Tons of overtime. And then I had a family too and everything. So, and it was fun because my wife and I did it together. Yeah. So we would go do workouts together. Sometimes we didn't get to see each other very much. Yeah. So we could see each other while we worked out.
More couples should do that.
Yeah. And we loved it. And we loved it. We were all in it. We thought it was great. What I started to not like about it was the fact that it's what you said. It was hard for me to control the movements. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to remember what this movement's called. Is it a snatch where you like put the bar over
all the way up?
What's when we go over your head and you like do a front squat, basically overhead squat. I'm sorry. You snatch it up into an overhead squat. You do an overhead squat, basically. And I remember I was doing that movement one time, and of course, I'm ego lifting some weight, you know, because that's what you do in CrossFit, right? Because they have prescribed, which I think is the biggest mistake that CrossFit ever does, is that this prescribed weight thing. They should never do that. And, you know, thank God I had a good coach, and he's like, you're gonna kill yourself doing that. And so he teaches me the form. Well, to do it in the form, I'm holding onto a PVC pipe. Mm-hmm. And it was like kind of then where my mind started to click, and I'm going, maybe this isn't a really good thing for me. Yeah. That form requires a PVC pipe. Yeah. And I was putting 150 some pounds over my head prior to that. Yeah. And I finally get a coach that's like, slow. No, you can't do that. Yeah. And I had some weird things happen. I can't remember. I think it starts with an R. You guys will know what it's called. But one day I was working out and my forearms got all weird and I couldn't close my hand, like just during a workout. Yeah. I felt, and it was like excruciatingly painful for
Was
like
it
2
nerve
days.
pain though? Like nerves?
No,
You couldn't.
no,
it
he
was
told
like
me what it was
numbness?
called. I can't remember what it was called. Sorry, I forgot. No, it was like excruciating pain. And it was just from like overdoing, I think we were doing a workout with like cleans and pull-ups or something.
Yeah.
And I just smoked my forearms to the point. He said, you got to be careful. You can get an issue with that. So stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was a great workout. I learned a ton. Like I learned a lot of gymnastics movements. I don't do kipping pull-ups ever, but I learned some things about how to do normal pull-ups from doing it. So I was like, I took a lot from it. But one of the things I didn't like about it was I loved that it was fast. I loved that I could go in there and you knew, because you knew what the workout was before you went in. And I knew, okay, today I got 20 minutes and that's it. And I'm done. And
Yeah,
I'm
but you go hard for that 20
yeah,
minutes.
I'm drenched in sweat. You literally leave a puddle on the floor, and I loved that part. But then I started to kind of think to myself, and I'm going,
How long can I maintain this?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to enjoy it always? Probably not.
exactly.
We've really separated ourselves from the CrossFit though.
Yeah.
Because we don't do like those bigger movements where you have the full bar overhead or anything like that, because there's people that walk into our gym that are 60, 70 plus years old and they're all able to do time fit. So we've created phases where it's just body weight and dumbbell based, because a lot of our clients don't even have time to go to the gym. And so we needed to make a sustainable program that allows them to really work out anytime, anywhere. Like for example, I work with a lot of medical professionals. Like that's our number one client, you know? And we work with a lot of like traveling nurses, and they don't have the time to go to a gym. You know, they need to get in their workout very quick on the road. And so all of our workouts or exercises are all dumbbell based and body weight based. So we're not really into like the crazy, you know, gymnastic movements or anything like that. All of our movements are really helping with the core concepts that I stated. And then it allows them to do it on the go. And so, you know,
That's and I think that is so underrated because it takes away your excuses.
yeah.
If you don't have the ability to work out when you don't have any equipment, then you're just going to find a reason not to work out.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, a lot of people have that. If I only have 30 minutes, I'm not going to work out because what's the point? Like
Exactly.
what am I going to do? Well, something
Yeah,
is always
absolutely.
better than nothing.
Absolutely.
Like just get it in, grab some dumbbells, do a quick one, move on.
Yeah, I mean, when we were on vacation, we went to Mexico back in June, and I just did push-ups all day, like every time.
Hey,
In fact,
push-ups are hard.
my son made a deal with me. He's like, every time you order a drink, you got to do a buy-in of push-ups. So I was doing 500 push-ups a day, and that's what I was doing while we were on vacation. Because I didn't want to go to the gym. I was like, I'm on the beach. I don't want to walk into the gym at the hotel. Last place I want to be is being there. So that's what I did.
true.
And I did it because it was easy. It didn't require me to do anything else, to require me to bring anything.
But you're still doing something.
Everyone was making fun of me because I was doing push-ups in the airport.
Oh gosh.
Show off.
But I was like, but I mean, you know, if you pick a movement and you just do it and you just commit yourself to it, and I don't know what you guys think, but I think a push-up's a great workout because it
Push-ups, pull-ups.
What killed me is when I got back, I thought my arms, shoulders, and chest would be sore. No, it was my core.
Yeah,
you
of
forget
course.
you
That plank.
You planked that whole time.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
my core.
you're
hurts.
engaging the mass majority of your body there.
Absolutely,
Yeah, push-ups.
and I totally agree, and I think that's awesome that you guys do that. And I think it's so under. I think, I mean, you look at some of the gyms that are around, and you guys tell me about your humble gym that you have.
Yeah.
And not a lot of the equipment is not used properly,
100%.
or it's not even used at all.
Or people are scared of the dumbbells because they might get hurt.
Yeah.
And so,
I kind of got on the dumbbell train. I mean, that's pretty much.
that's the best ones: dumbbells and barbells.
See, I very rarely use the barbell.
Yeah.
I did my 1 rep max today. Today was my once a month. Once a month, I do a
Why not?
Bench
and it's,
or
I I do squats, I do deadlifts, and I do bench.
Yeah.
So I kind of just
The main
I
compounds.
kind of see what I'm at. See, it gives me, and my rule is like I can't use straps, so I don't strap my hands because I have to have the hand strength to be able to do it. And then my other rule is, I don't do anything to the point of like where it's going to hurt me.
Yeah.
100%.
Like I do it, and it's like it's got to be really, really, really hard to be my max, but I leave a little bit of gas in the tank, and what I mean by that is I'm not going to put myself in a dangerous
Oh
situation.
my gosh, a back injury is
Yeah.
the worst.
Yeah.
I've had a back injury, and I wouldn't recommend anybody going to the point where they're going to hurt themselves because it can ruin you for.
Well, you have to listen to your body.
You do.
Yeah, like today, I mean, for whatever reason, so I had my personal record on bench today and my personal record on deadlifts, but my squat was only 315, and I just felt wrong. And I stopped. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah, that's
just-
the max I've gone. Is
I just went
315,
down, and I
maybe.
went down, and I got up, and I did it. And everything was fine, and I'm like,
Maybe not another one.
it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, because I'm like, I don't need to get hurt in there.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
I don't need, you know, I need to be in great shape.
Yeah.
And my other two movements were way over where I wanted to be. So I was like, well, okay, cool. That's just my
Yeah.
body was ready for that today.
Yeah, and we still like if you're coming into the gym with us, certain people like we'll still take the time to go through like compound movements and stuff, but our core is like the time fit movements and the dumbbells. But if you want to work on your squat, like we do all of it. But
What's weird about it is I don't like today I bench pressed. I haven't bench pressed in a month. I don't bench press. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but I just don't think it's that effective of a
no,
movement.
and it puts your shoulders in a
Yeah.
compromised state. Like
So I do dumbbell incline press, and I do
that's good.
flies, and I usually do those on the floor.
Yeah,
so
me
if
too.
if the weight caves out on me, I can just drop them.
Yeah.
And I don't have to hurt myself. But those are my big chest. Oh, and dips.
Yeah.
I do dips like crazy, and
Dips suck.
I don't touch the bench except for to kind of go, okay, this is where
Well,
I'm
it's a
at.
strength movement, I would say.
Yeah.
Like it's very strength based, power. Why can I think of it? What the power lifters? It's
Yeah,
a powerlifting
it's a power
thing.
lift. Yeah,
like
exactly.
deadlift,
Right.
squat,
Right.
bench.
The thing is, so I'll tell you what I do for a warm up, and I totally believe you. I think you guys are spot on. Weightlifting is where it's at. I don't think cardio is super effective, but I think movement's effective.
Good for your heart.
100%.
Like walking, I like to walk.
Yeah.
Put an
Walking
incline.
is so underestimated.
Oh, I think it's great.
Yeah.
And I like put an incline on it and make it hard, do
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I'm not, and I'll do every once in a while, I'll do a little interval work, like a hit workout,
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's good for you. But I totally agree with you guys. You're spot on. The weight training is where it's at. And I usually warm up I usually do like 100 push-ups, 100 squats, and then that's all I do. And
For your
then
warm-up?
Yeah.
Just to warm up your
And I
body.
stretch in between, like I do stretches, like while I'm, because I
think-
usually do sets of 25
Yeah.
to kind of break it up, because honestly, it's boring.
Dynamic stretches are like amazing. Like
So
if
what
you
do you
do some dynamic
What
stretches.
do you guys put your clients through for a warm up?
A very, very simple warm up.
Yeah.
Because we're every hour on the hour, and we have people. We don't want people lining up. We don't
Yeah.
want to do a 30-minute warm up or anything like that. And so we do a very simple warm up. Usually consists of like a jog in place, air squats, jumping jacks, side lunges, thoracic twists, some arm circles, and we go through that at least 2 rounds, just to get the body warmed up. Nothing special or nothing like super complex. But if somebody is going to come in and they're like sore in an area, or they are just kind of getting over maybe an injury and they're kind of coming back in, I mean, we'll take the time to warm them up properly,
Stretch.
help them stretch,
some mobility or
some mobility work. But like we don't do anything that's like super complex.
Yeah.
We keep it very
No.
easy and simple.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
You got to have movements that everybody can do.
100%.
You got to have movements because otherwise they're not
Yeah.
going to warm up properly.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is like even after they're done warming up, like I said, we train, from 11 years old up to I think like 80 is our
Absolutely.
Was like the oldest one.
is our oldest client. And every single one of those people can do our time fit movements. I don't know if you've seen any of our movements, but they're definitely unorthodox.
Yeah, I do. I watch all your, you tag me on all your Facebook videos.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like your movements. I mean, you're doing one of the things I really like is you do a lot of lunge movements with some type of upper body component.
Yeah.
I like it. Those movements are really there, and people. It's funny because one of the things I also appreciate about you too when you do your videos is you're not ego lifting with the weights.
Yeah.
They're lower weights, but people don't understand. Yeah, that weight's fine for the first 5 or 6 reps, but then it gets
Catches up to
heavy.
you.
It gets heavy, and you're keeping your form. Like you're keeping your form all the way through it. And so I can tell. No, I think the stuff you're doing is great. And the other thing I like about it is almost everything that I've seen you push out, your core is involved.
100%.
So you're not and if you do it right, there's some days you don't have to focus on core because you just crushed your core during your
Definitely.
your
That's what
workout.
I was going to say next is, going back to, people going into the gym for 90 minutes to 2 hours or whatever it is. Some people will work out for an hour, then do 30 minutes of vigorous cardio, and then do 30 minutes of core. And I'm thinking to myself, like, who has time for that now?
Yeah, exactly.
Nowadays. Yeah. And so to be able to get your core engaged through almost every single one of our movements, where you are spot on. A lot of our lower body movements are mixed in with some upper body exercise.
Absolutely.
To really engage the full body, but again, still getting the true intent out of each movement. And that's why we're able to, really provide or reach optimal results within that 10 to 30 minute period, because our clients are only maybe maximizing 2 hours a week of like weight training.
Right.
So think of that compared to the person that is spending 8, 10, 12 hours a week in the gym and not getting the results that they deserve.
And I definitely come from a bodybuilding style of training. And I actually wanted to do a show. I still do. Hopefully I'll do one eventually. I really want to do one. But it is very time consuming and you just have to commit to it. But I come from that, you got your bodybuilding split and like, that's how it is. But you do need time for that. Like you have to really.
You do, but I mean, I made, in 1 year, I made tremendous strides and totally changed my entire composition by simply, every day I went to the gym and I did one chest exercise, one back exercise.
Yeah, full body,
one
right?
leg. Yeah, full body. And that's usually what I do.
Because you get more reps per week on each body part, which is like optimal.
And I'm not smoked.
Yeah.
I don't leave.
You can keep
I don't
going.
leave one day going, oh, I did a leg day and I can't walk for 2 days.
So tomorrow you can hit it again.
Exactly. And I go back to that thing where I have a 4-year-old daughter and I have to kneel on the floor and play magnets and stuff like that with
Being
her.
sore sucks,
I can't
for sure.
I can't do it if I did that.
yeah.
I couldn't enjoy my life. It also comes from the law enforcement side too, where I used to work out like back when I was a real cop and I actually went out on the street and did stuff. Back then when I would do that, I was always careful. Like if I worked out before work, I wasn't going to smoke myself to the point that if I got in a fight with somebody or I had to chase somebody, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's true.
I couldn't be physically disabled when I went to work. I had to be ready to do anything.
Because sore legs and then trying to run.
Oh, yeah.
It's not happening the
Oh,
right.
and it could kill you. It could be the difference between your life and your death.
with you for sure.
So I always would try to like go, okay, well let's work out really hard, but let's you still need to fight to save your own life. So you leave a little gas in the tank type of thing. But anyway, where I was getting with that is that's really kind of what I do is I do a full body and I'm rarely in the gym longer than 35 minutes. I mean, sometimes I am, but it's usually because I want to stretch.
Yeah.
And I choose to focus on something else, or I try a new movement. Honestly, some of the stuff I've done, I've seen you do online, and I'm like, well, I'm going to go try that.
Yeah, why not?
And so I'll do my whole workout, and then I'll try that because I'll be like, because sometimes you don't, until you do it, you don't know where it fits.
True.
Yeah.
Like, where does this fit in my routine? Because you want to add something new.
Yeah.
So you just go through your routine to make sure you hit everything.
Of course.
And then you do that. But for me, and I guess one of the other questions I want to ask is it okay to work out 6-7 days a week?
So, in my own opinion, for the average person, 6-7 days a week is a little excessive, in my own opinion.
Okay.
Because the recovery process is going to be so important for actually building the lean muscle that you're looking for and giving yourself ample recovery time to actually grow. And so, our methodology is our clients are working out 4 times a week because a lot of them are so busy that they don't have the time to be working out 6-7 days a week.
Right.
And so, bare minimum, 3-4 days a week, I think is more than enough for any person to really see results. But
If
the
your
number
diet's
one
on.
thing that you said,
If your diet's on.
yeah, the number one the number one thing that you said though was consistency. You can't do 3-4 times a week, 1 week, take 3 weeks off, and then 3-4 times a week.
Yeah, you got to go.
You got to find what works for you, what you can be consistent with, because something might work for one person, and then the next person, that's just not cutting it for them, and they need to do a little extra or more recovery.
I
or-
say that. So for me to keep my discipline,
Yeah.
and this is what happens in Jesse's head. So you just have to bear with me for a second. I tell myself every day, every week, I'm going to lift 7 days a week. I tell myself that. So I go into every week and I never make it.
Yeah.
It's always 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But the reason I do that is because then if I miss a day, I don't allow myself to miss the next day. I'm like, oh, you already missed your 7 days. You got to get 6 now.
Yeah.
Then I missed another day because I have a meeting or a family issue or whatever. And I usually land at 4 or 5 almost consistently every week.
Yeah.
No problem. And if I hit the 5th day and I'm aware of it, then that day I'll like stretch or do more other things to kind of like active recovery myself. But that's what I have to do. And that's why I asked that question.
Yeah.
It's because I literally have to plan that I'm going to work out every single day of the week, and every day is a workout day because something always comes up.
Of course.
It does.
There's a
That's why
emergency.
people stop, or they're like, I'm just not doing it.
Yeah.
The
I'm too busy.
the thing is, though, if you didn't have time to go to the gym since you're that busy, I mean, think about if you had that time fit workout to do a quick 10 to 30 minutes and still get optimal results.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Even for people like yourself that love that traditional way of weight training and you love to test yourself out and, you're doing, traditional exercises. If there was a time where you had to get in a quick 10 to 30 minute workout and you wanted it to be worth your time, I'm telling you, time fit is where it's at, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can totally, and I do stuff like that. Like, you were doing, like a curtsy squat deal the other day. And like, you want to push yourself in a short period of time
100%.
because that's not really a traditional work.
Yeah.
And it totally, all the different muscles
yeah.
and things you use, it messes with your head.
Hurts
in a
to
hurry.
hit your booty for sure.
Plus, if you want, there is, in my own mind, I mean, maybe for yourself, there's not going to be one regiment that you follow.
Absolutely.
But a way that you can implement some of these movements in to maximize your results, especially if you're within limited time. I mean, keep doing it, man. I think that's really awesome, especially that, somebody like yourself, me and Miranda definitely look up to, you, and we were very excited to come on your show. And so to hear that you're actually trying some of my movements, I mean, that's
cool.
like one of these for me, you know?
No, it's cool. It's good stuff. And one of the things that I really admire about what I see you guys do is little cheers to Eric Heimbaugh
Oh,
here.
yeah. Eric is a beast, man.
I saw those pictures on him when you posted it. Because, I mean, and here's the weird part. As I see Eric all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't notice.
And I went like this, and I was like, oh, my gosh. And he looked amazing. And the job that you guys did, I love, by the way, those pictures. I mean, that is so cool that you guys do that.
Well,
That's
sometimes
awesome.
people don't see anything
Yeah.
and they need those pictures. And a lot of the times people don't want to take a picture. But
Absolutely.
then in the month, they're like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, that's so good to see. And you can really see things. So
Seriously.
progress doesn't always come from the number on the scale, which we tell people all the time.
Oh.
That's not what it's about. Don't chase the numbers. Like,
Our
you
number
gotta,
one saying is fuck the scale.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you.
We measure so
Yeah.
that people can see, okay, you lost 3 pounds, but you just lost 4 inches off your waist or wherever. Everybody loses it in a different area. Sometimes
Absolutely.
it's the hips or the booty or your waist, but it's interesting too to see like where people lose it first because everybody's so different.
Well, and I've always prescribed by the idea is, do you like the way you look? Yes or no?
Exactly.
Don't worry about how much you weigh.
Can you imagine
100%.
waking up every day and just hating the way you look and hating yourself? Like, that's another thing that we are super big on. It's not just like, hey, let's work out. We really build people's mindset and help them see like
Their true capability.
Just their worth. Like, you are not just a mom. You are not just like this businesswoman. Like, you are worth so much more than you actually think. And if you could believe in yourself the way that we actually believe in you, like, you would make it to the moon. Like, if
Absolutely. And all these parents out there that are like, I mean, being, and you guys know, being a parent is so hard.
Yeah.
And it is so hard. It is so
but it's the best. But it's so hard. It is.
It is.
Changes everything about your life.
I mean,
just so you know.
Oh, it completely rocks your world, and in all the good ways.
Yeah.
But one of the hardest parts about it is your time management gets completely tested.
Oh yeah.
Unless you're, going to be a total jerk of a parent, not spending time with your kids, which nobody's doing.
You can't do that. Your kids need you.
No one's intending to do that. It's not purposeful. But
sometimes you don't realize that you do it even.
that's very true. But one of the things I always kind of like think about is I'm in law enforcement. I've been having a career in law enforcement. I'm sure everybody thinks I work out because I'm in law enforcement and all this other stuff. And honestly, I work out because I'm like, what if I have to save my kid's life? Yeah. What if I have to save my wife's life? Like, that's my priority. Like, that's what I think about. Can I pick up, obviously, my 4-year-old's probably not that difficult, but I mean, I have an 18 and a 16-year-old. Can I pick them up and carry them, if I had to?
Yeah.
Can I do all that?
100%.
And then all of a sudden your mind starts going, okay, wait a second. That's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
And how long am I going to be here?
Yeah, exactly. And for all those parents out there that are watching it, I mean, seriously, like, go pick up your kid and carry him for a little while and just see what happens.
Seriously.
And you start to realize you get fatigued and winded really, really fast.
Man, when I had to start carrying around that little thing on my arm, I was like, man, this thing is heavy. Even at one point, I would be the one carrying it forever. And then I'd be like, hold this for a second. And he'd do it. And he's like, oh my God.
I know.
Because it's different. You get that arm strength.
Are you talking about the diaper bag? Is that what you're talking about? The actual baby?
You have the you have the little carrier.
Oh,
so
the
like,
seat,
so it's the car seat.
Yes.
But a lot of the times, I'm sorry, I had this huge stroller and I was like, I'm not taking that big old thing out, putting the baby in there. I'm just gonna carry this girl.
Right.
And you do.
Oh yeah, it's no joke.
I felt like this bicep's never the same now because it's got that strength.
So when we had our first kid, I didn't like the girlish diaper bags. So
you had your man bag?
I had a man bag, and even had body armor in it, so I could, I was all geeked out.
Oh, man.
I had trauma kit in
Like,
there.
yeah, I'm a dad now.
So it was even more. So even the bag was heavy, and
you got the bag. It's so irritating when you're getting out of the car. You got the bag, you have your purse, you have whatever else you might need, your keys, the baby, and then you're trying to get out, and then your purse is falling down your shoulder, and then you got it's a lot. Even just getting out of the car when you have a kid.
And you want to talk about like another reason to stay in really good shape, right? Is all that. But you feel so vulnerable when you have a baby.
True.
Oh, I suffered so bad.
Yeah.
Postpartum, it is no joke. And I'm not saying some people get it way worse than others, but for me, like I said, I suffered with anxiety, but after my baby, it was way worse. And you can ask him. I would wake up in the middle of the night and be like, Elise, wake her up.
Yeah.
Because I thought, I don't know, I was scared she wasn't breathing. I suffered so bad, and the anxiety I was dealing with was so serious. I was like, I mean, how am I going to live the rest of my life like this? Like, if I have to feel like this all the time, I just cannot do this. And so I really had to work at it. And I just that's why I know if you have anxiety and you're struggling, and I mean, I wouldn't even ever have been able to do this or get up in front of a class and teach them. Like, I would have thought there's no way I'd ever be able to do that.
The number one medicine is movement.
Oh, yeah.
Working out.
And just talking to yourself nice.
Depression.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
These women talk so down to themselves. And it's like, think about your daughter hearing you look in the mirror and saying, God, I'm fat, blah, 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 whatever. Oh, I'm hideous, all these different things. And then she's looking at you and she thinks you're the most beautiful thing in the world.
Right.
If you could see yourself through your kid's eyes,
Yeah.
you would change the way you thought about yourself.
Well, and let's talk about that anxiety.
that.
Let's talk about that anxiety issue too, because I think that's a real thing. I feel like in a lot of ways, working in law enforcement, doing the things I was doing when my kids were young, I feel like I projected anxiety onto them.
Like by yelling and like being a certain type of way, and just your job in general.
Well,
being
and
a
just
cop.
but I think it was way simpler than that. I think it was just coming home, thinking about work, thinking about your cases, thinking about life stresses,
And you're stressed out.
bills, things
Yeah.
like all the things that come to. I think you project that on to your children, and I didn't really realize it till we had our youngest daughter now, because she's 12 years separated from my
And
second.
you're older now, and you
And
see
I'm smart.
things.
You're wiser and you're smarter. And I try really hard not to project that stuff onto her. And it feels like she's a little bit more easygoing than my older
Some of
kids
the
were.
other.
And it's hard because like I see, like you were talking about being young and having anxiety. I see anxiety in my teenagers.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, why do you have this anxiety? You say there's no reason for you to have it. Well, we teach them how to have it.
It's you and how you're acting and
Yeah,
your environment. And not only that, though, kids are mean. Kids are mean. I mean, if you look at it, like
that's true.
they're so worried about what everybody else thinks.
Oh yeah, peer pressures.
Yeah. And I mean, I hate to mention it, but suicides, different
yeah.
things that are happening. And it's so scary
huge
to
issue.
even think about like sending your kid off. And I mean, the way that you got to think they watch these shows and stuff, and they can just be downright mean, and they don't realize how much they're actually affecting that kid or that person. And I'm
Well,
going to be a bully mom. If
think about
those phones,
Jeez.
if like you can't, if your kid is a bully, you need to stop that. Like nip it in the butt immediately, because
Absolutely.
you need to be kind. Like just spread kindness. That's what it's about. And especially when it comes to kids, like think about it. They're so sensitive,
Absolutely.
so easily influenced, and it just,
Well, and the phone's this other distraction.
and they see all the Kim
Yeah.
Kardashians
Yes.
and the buffed out guys that are on steroids at 17. And it's like, oh, I'm going to look like that.
It really gives them a false perception of
complex.
what reality is, though.
Absolutely.
Because
The edits?
there's so many men and women out there that will edit all their videos or their photos, and maybe they might be on steroids or whatever, or they're taking a lot of supplements. But then, like, that's not the reality side of it. It's not just taking a pill or taking a photo and you got the six pack or whatever. There's a
no,
lot
that's
of
not
hard
true.
look.
That's not true. I take this supplement, and this guy, he's on there, and he's really jacked, and I'm going to look like him any day now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
But the
I
hard
hope
work,
that works for you.
the blood, sweat, and tears, man. I mean,
Yes.
hard work works.
Yeah.
So what is the big shortcut?
There is none.
Hard work. Being consistent. There is no shortcuts when it comes to this. Like, you got to wake up every day and do it. You have to do it for yourself. You have to do it for your kids.
Let's flip the script. There is no shortcut for where you're at today. As a face in the community, as a father, as the sheriff, as a leader, there was no shortcut for you. But through learning through your trials and errors as a father, as in law enforcement and everything else. And so, there's not a shortcut in anything.
Yeah.
Like I said, hard work works. And, playing up on the whole anxiety or thinking about, other people's opinions or whatever, where me and Miranda have really solidified ourselves and stop caring about all these other people's thoughts
You're
and
gonna drive
opinions.
yourself
Do you know how
crazy.
many people I've told that, hey, I run a fitness training business, I'm a personal trainer, whatever, and they're like, oh,
Are you okay?
are you able to like take care of your family, or and it's just like, even stemming back to my like soccer career, I was made fun of most of my life for playing soccer, and now even some of our closer friends, when we stated that we were going to start this fitness business, they would be like, well, are you going to be able to like sustain that or support your family?
There's no money in fitness.
And the thing is you can do anything that you put your mind to if you stop allowing other people's opinions to like
guide you.
diminish the value and the opinion that you see in yourself.
Yeah.
You know, if
very
it doesn't
true.
match your opinion of yourself or the value that you see in yourself, then I would separate. I would separate from that social aspect.
You are the
great
most
advice.
important person you talk to every single day. Like
Yeah.
the way you talk to yourself can change your whole life.
and think
just by
about
being positive
Think about
and-
the long hours too, for all the busy lives out there. So, for example, for me, I'll wake up at 4:35 a.m. and I have this 15-minute window where I just pray, and I pray to the Lord, and then I start this. It's called Motiversity. It's a channel that I follow on YouTube, and I'll listen to that in the morning. And I have to build myself up every day. I don't just walk away super motivated and with this much energy at 6 a.m. when my clients are coming in. They're like, oh my gosh, how many cups of coffee did you drink? Well, I don't drink caffeine at all. I don't drink caffeine at all. But I live, eat, breathe it. And at
Right.
5 a.m., I'm listening to these videos and motivation and, building myself up, because if in my own mind, that's what it takes for me. Like you said, you have to start your day at, I'm going to work, or I'm going to start my week at, I'm working out 7 days a week.
Yeah.
For me, it's, I have to build up my mentality and have that integrity for me so that I can coach other people to do that for themselves. But she'll be like, oh my gosh, it's 5 a.m. What are you doing? And I'm
Can you turn that
chanting
down
and
a little bit?
I'll be singing.
It's so
I'm
loud.
a morning guy, man. Mornings are my favorite because it's when it's supposed to be the quiet points, but I make it loud,
Yeah.
Well, it's good you time.
Yeah, exactly.
I worked nights for a long time, like I said, bartending. And the flip to waking up at 5 a.m., I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? But you get used to
You do
it.
get used
I don't
to
care who you are. When you get up in the morning, you're tired. Like, you're
yeah.
not going to just wake up and be like, all right, I'm ready to go. You got to wake up. You got to talk to yourself just like you do. And
I love what you say though about the motivating. So I'm trying to think here. I'll tell you what mine is. Mine is motivate on Spotify.
Okay.
With an 8 on the end of it, and it's
I've
just
never heard that
different.
one.
It's different people like David Goggins and people
yeah,
like that.
that's like what we listen to.
And it's just little, and it's funny because we were talking about the cold plunge before we came in here, and I said I've been dropping the temperature, but the 3 minutes is like the max now because I'm getting pretty low in the temperature, and so, but I got to do it for 3 minutes every day. I got to do it. And so there's some on there that are 3 minutes long, like or 3 minutes and 30 seconds or whatever. And it's just like, it's like David Goggins and he's like, calling me a bunch of names.
Yeah.
And it just like, you're weak. And you just get in there and you like, let them yell at you for the whole
But at the same
you know.
time, you're screaming "fuck you" in your head.
Exactly.
Shut up.
But I'm like, I'm not getting out of this cold water. Till so. But I mean, I actually do that. I actually do something very similar to that in the morning because there are days when I don't even want to participate in life.
Oh my
100%.
gosh, that's everybody.
I don't want to go to work. I don't want to work out. I'm like, I better not see my wife this morning. I'll be growly.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
And you just have to
feel
get
you.
yourself there somehow.
Motivation is a feeling. Like,
Absolutely.
Just like anything else, happy, sad, like it's going to come and go.
Well, I don't think people are honest with themselves about the highs and lows they have. I mean, I don't think people realize that even people like yourselves that are high performers, you have lows. Of
course we do.
You have deep, deep lows.
Oh, man.
And you just struggle and you do it. But then if you practice long enough and you've pulled yourself out of it long enough, then you realize, I can do this.
My grandma told me from a young age, fake it to make it. And she would always tell me that. And I would always say, oh my gosh, please, I already know and I can't do it. But as you get older and stuff, you fake it until you make it. And
I give that advice to my kids all the time.
you do?
Well,
And show me your friends, I'll show you your future. She would
Yeah.
always say that too.
Yeah, that's another
And
good
it's-
advice.
it's
The
true.
fake it till you make it thing is funny though. I've had to do that so many times in my life. And when I became sheriff, I totally faked it.
Yeah.
And I felt
And now you're not going to let anyone else be sure.
and I felt like a fraud. I felt like a fraud. You literally, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have felt a little bit like that too, where you're
Oh.
like, you kind of feel like you're like, how am I pulling this off? And you feel a little bit like I probably shouldn't. And I think like your faith, though, I think if you have faith in God and you're like, okay, this isn't me doing it.
Yeah.
It's him doing it.
100%.
And I think it's actually healthy for us to kind of feel like, I mean, this is just speaking for me. I actually sometimes feel healthy when I feel like a fraud, because then I know it's like, okay, this is God's grace bringing me here, not me.
Yeah.
I think man's world is you feel like a fraud, but I think if you really think about it, you're like, no. God's grace is bringing me here. I didn't bring myself here.
Do you go to church?
Oh yeah.
Where do you go?
New City. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just went to Victory Church.
Oh, that's a great church.
And I have a client. She is amazing.
Yeah.
Gracie O'Brien. She invited me to church this year. I have not been in a long time.
Yeah.
I have struggled with my relationship, I would say, with the Lord, just because I came from a situation where it was very fake, and this person was God's greatest gift to earth, but he was really the devil in sheep's clothing.
Yep.
And I've seen that a lot, and I think that that relationship made me struggle. But when I got with him and I started praying, and when you don't pray and you start praying, you almost feel uncomfortable, kind of. You're like, what am I even doing? But I came into him one day and I was crying. I was like, oh my gosh, like I feel really good. And he'll pray over me. And I think that in the past couple years, he has really turned me to the Lord a lot more.
That's awesome.
And I think Victory Church is great from what I saw. We went there for Christmas. It was very nice. That's the only church I've tried, though.
I have a lot of close friends that go to church there.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic church. And that's probably, if I wasn't going to the church that I'm in now, that's probably where I'd be. Yeah, it's great. It's a great church.
I really enjoyed it. And I was nervous to go and everything. But I don't think you need to go to church every single day or every Sunday, to...
Well, I said this in an earlier podcast, and some people kind of took it wrong when I said it, but it's not, your relationship with God is not about the church.
Yeah.
Or about even sometimes churches can become kind of corporation oriented. It's not about that. It's about your individual relationship. Yeah. And your communication with God and Jesus and how you do that. That's what it's about. And those things, the church, they bring you closer to like-minded people. They give you information. They help you. They do great things. I mean, my pastor, I was struggling this week. I was like, earlier this week, I was just stressed out about some things and family life. And out of the blue, he texts me, I'm like, I know why he texts me. I'm talking to God, and he's like, you're on my heart. Boom, just like that. And that's the connection that you get out of that. Those are the things that you get. And I think it's super, super important. Yeah. I really do. And I think it's important for people who are seeking fitness. I think it's really important for them to have spirituality.
100%.
That's, like nutrition, fitness, mental health, all those things that are spirituality, all that comes together.
It's your center.
It is. Yeah.
And
well put.
A lot of things in my life, if I didn't have my faith, I would have probably, went down a dark path or, given up. And faith has been the biggest energizer for me, especially as of late. You talk about some of the challenges that you face, behind closed doors that a lot of people don't, know about you. And it's been the same for, us and, most people out there. There's a lot of different challenges that, people face that doesn't really come to light, but my faith and hopefully, continuing to instill that into my wife as well as my kids is something that is very, very important to me because it keeps me centered to where I can also stay, motivated and energized and know that even if something didn't work out, that I'm not ever going to give up because it's way more than me. Right. When you talk about your kids, I can tell that you have that's your apple to your eye. That's your fire, right? And I think that's so important for every individual to find that soul fire, because then it's way bigger than you. And I tell this to my clients all the time when they tell me like, oh, it's so hard, or it's the nutrition or fitness or whatever, and I dial it back and say, hey, you're not just doing this for you, because how many times this year alone have you given up on yourself? And I tell them, hey, I've given up on myself hundreds of times, and I'm the face of this. I'm the face of this.
I love that you say that. I really do. I mean, I think that's a thing that, you know, I mean, especially if people were to see the both of you, all right? You're a good looking couple. You've got a business going on in town, and you're both very like intense, passionate people. You can see that. And people would watch you two and they'd be like, oh yeah, it's just easy. It's just super easy for them. They got it all. Everything's good.
We don't want to do it half the time.
No,
like
and it's just, it's like, and I love that you said, I quit on myself 100 times.
Yeah.
And you do. Like, I do.
But you get back up.
I do all the time. I'm like,
but that's the raw side of it.
Oh yeah.
People want to know the truth, man. They don't want it to be this stage perfect life that people really portray on social media.
Nothing is sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
I'm terrified to death for them to come out with some artificial intelligence that reads your mind.
Yeah.
Oh God, please don't.
If they ever come out with something like that and somebody walks by, like they censor it on me and listen to what's going on, the voices in my
They're
head.
like, what'd you say?
I mean, they'd be like, what'd you say? I mean, and but most of it would be stuff like, you know,
how much is running through your head about yourself?
Yeah,
like
you can't do this. Why are you? You know, who do you think you are for trying to do this or whatever? It's just stuff like that, and you just run it through your head, and then you get over it and go do it.
Yeah, when you start talking to yourself in that negative cycle, like if you ever notice it, flip it like right away.
Yeah.
And start saying positivity, and you will totally you will start to believe it.
The only thing that helps me about that is, I think you said it earlier, is even in my self-talk, if my mind starts telling me I can't do it, I'm like, okay, well, we're going to try it then.
Yeah.
That's where my mind goes. It's like, because that's what I would do if someone told me I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, well, let's
see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Exactly.
And so I think that's the only really saving grace to that for me, is because I actually, it's funny, it's weird. I won't positively talk myself, but I'll challenge
yourself.
I'll challenge myself. I'll say, okay, let's see how this goes.
Yeah. You're a competitor.
Right. You just go, okay, tell me I can't do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Exactly.
So let's talk real quick. I really want to talk about, so we talked about a lot about your business, and I'm sure we could go way more in depth. But what I'm really curious about with you guys is, I want to talk about all the variable stuff outside of the actual going into the gym that people can do to keep themselves healthy. So we started talking about spirituality, like being healthy, have a center. So that's a really core component too.
Breath work.
We'll talk about that. So I want to know, like, you know, I sauna, I cold plunge. I try to eat right.
And nutrition's hard.
I do all those things. So break it down for me as to the stuff outside of the gym. What do people do to stay healthy, and how do they do that?
It just depends on what they really believe in, though. You know, it's a broad question, but at the same time is, like, people will spend 30 minutes on a morning routine, but no matter if you spent 30 minutes in a morning routine or 30 seconds, it comes down to, did you get that shit done at the end of the day?
Right.
You know, I mean, that's the reality side of it.
Right.
And for me and you know, we don't cold plunge, we don't sauna, you know, we do some motivational stuff and we might pray or whatever, but like, I don't have a certain routine or follow anything that is going to put me in that type of light. But I do respect the people that do it. And you know, 9 times out of 10, it's more for their mental state. Like you said, it's more about teaching yourself that you can do it and staying disciplined, and the fact that, most people aren't going to get up at 4:30 in the morning, sauna, and do a cold plunge while they're listening to David Goggins while he's cussing at you, and you know, that's how they're going to start their day. but that's what separates you. That's why you're maybe able to take on some of the things that you're taking on.
And I hate it.
I don't doubt that.
The sauna's not too bad. The sauna's actually pretty good.
What
But
made you say I want a cold plunge?
So honestly, just listening to podcasts and keep hearing all this stuff. And then I listened to one of the Huberman podcasts, and he started talking about the psychological things it did with cortisol and stress.
Yeah.
And I've always struggled with that. Like, I can literally stress myself into gaining weight. I can. I mean,
Most people do.
Yeah, I can. I can just do it. And so I was interested, and I just thought, well, I'll give it a shot. I totally agree with you, and I said it before we started. I don't really know if it does anything other than it's very, very hard. I hate doing it. But when I get out, the endorphins and the feeling, and I don't know if it's just because I did it. So it's like you completed the task, so I have the endorphins, or if the cold water really makes me feel the endorphins.
Yeah.
Oh, and it totally wakes me up. And if you guys ever taken pre-workout, the powder stuff you put in your drink and it makes your ears tingle.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? That whatever that stuff is. So I
take it. He doesn't.
I hate that stuff.
Me too.
I hate it. I hate that feeling.
Makes it itch.
Yeah, I mean, makes me have to go, usually I have to run
use
into
the
the
toilet
bathroom
first.
before I work out. I mean, all these
Stomach
things.
sick,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And my body feels like I'm itchy.
You probably just need a non-stim or something.
But
Have
you-
you tried the non-stims?
But you do that? You cold plunge?
Yeah.
And it gives me all the psychological endorphin effects of the pre-workout without the tingling.
So you do that and you're ready to go work out.
And then I do that and I drive to my office where I have a gym and I work out.
That's cool.
Wow. I would like to try it. I never have.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I'm a sissy when it comes to cold.
It's hard.
But I've heard great things, and especially with women and cortisol and just different things about your skin.
Just start slow. Like I started it, I think the water was literally like 69 degrees when I started.
Yeah.
Which is cold, but it's like your tap water in your house.
People even do cold showers.
Yeah.
I've heard to start.
I hate the cold shower. Hate it. Because it hits a certain part of your body and then you turn. Immersing yourself is just like it's done and over with.
Over with in a second.
The cold shower thing, I mean,
If I'm
Not
going
a-
swimming, it needs to be hot outside, like very hot.
you're exactly like my wife in that. She does
Yeah.
no cold water.
I think we definitely need to try it because we've never done it.
Yeah.
So I can't speak on something that I've never tried.
Well, what's your
so
okay, so so you told me like motivational stuff, but so let's talk nutrition then. So talk to me in the audience about nutrition, because I think that's and we had a great talk about before we came on, because I do some intermediate fasting and you started talking to me about how much protein intake I should have and all this sort of stuff. So I want to hear what you guys think on nutrition, because I know you're giving nutrition plans to your clients.
yeah, but all of our nutritional plans or anything to do with nutrition are all medically backed. So it's not just me and Miranda. We actually have medical partners that work for me and the Fit Familia. They can come in and, help us put together a tailored plan for the specific person. And then we also utilize Evolution Nutrition and several other, services to make sure that we're given that tailored plan that's going to actually optimize the person's success. But when it comes to nutrition, I'm not in agreement with intermittent fasting or, a lot of these things where people
Keto.
are cutting out carbs or all these different things. I don't coach any of that as a philosophy within my business, just because, a lot of that is just bells and whistles on cutting out a third of your calories for the day, when you could actually have optimal high nutritious value throughout the day, and having it as smaller items that we've either put together as a tailored plan or whatever it may be, but something that's going to be sustainable, because a lot of people aren't going to be able to sustain intermittent fasting. Like, are you only going to eat for 4 hours out of the day for the rest of your life?
Or keto the rest of their life.
And our overall goal is to really teach people what's going to be sustainable for long term, and teach them, hey, can you actually do this for the rest of your life? Because if you're only doing it for a small cycle, in my own mind, it's like, why are you doing that then?
Well, isn't the argument the same as what you guys talked about with working out? Yeah, you worked out 2 or 3 days a week for 2 weeks and you took 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
You're not consistent.
Yeah.
Exactly. And as far as the food goes, I mean, most of these people, it's like they don't even realize it, but you are massively eating. You're saying, I don't eat that much. But then in your 2 meals, you've eaten like 3,000 calories, and then you don't count those 3 drinks that you had, all the drinks when you went out to dinner, like, oh, well, those were like, they don't realize how much like they're actually eating.
When you say drinks, are you talking about alcohol?
Well, yeah, like on the weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
Even like your wines, like these people, obviously not like bodybuilders and people that are very aware, but like most people don't even really track the drinks, or like, let's say your soda or your coffee in the morning and all the creamer you put in there.
Oh, yeah.
Like you didn't even realize that you just had
That's true.
Oh, it's
200
huge.
calories, or
That's why
like those Starbucks.
That's why I gave up everything on my
Yeah.
coffee, because it was like nothing that you put in there was going to help.
And then they say they didn't eat that much. And then it's like, well, if you would have tracked that, maybe you don't even realize you're having 3,500 calories. And then you're saying, nothing's worked for me. I've done everything and I haven't lost any weight. Well, you haven't, because you're not paying attention really. Whereas if you stopped cooking with a ton of olive oil and changed to using a spray, or switched to sugar-free creamer, or just paid attention to like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have Alfredo, a big plate of Alfredo for dinner, and I'm going to have some chicken and a small side of noodles, or whatever
Right.
it may be. We don't suggest that. Like, we're kind of huge on a 80-20 rule. Like,
Moderation.
moderate, just like living your life, enjoying
Moderation is
things,
important.
or a meal on the weekend, having a drink with your friends, but at the same time during the week, and for the most part, you're very focused. You're eating your high nutrient dense food, getting in the protein that you need, and just watching your portion control. Like, most people just need to really focus on that. But for me, I think high protein, 1 gram per body weight, maybe not in every case. Like, I guess if you're a 230-pound woman and you're 5'2", don't eat 200 grams of protein. Like, you can probably go less
Right.
than that and follow how many calories you might need. But
Think about, though, the amount of people that do not track because they don't understand it, or they don't want to take the time to learn it because it can be an inconvenience, which me and Miranda are going to be launching our app in the next 7 to 10 days.
Tell me about that. Your health journey is as unique as you are. The Peak Great Falls has everything you need for your fitness journey. They are your partner in wellness, with a top-notch facility and expert staff and a very welcoming vibe. Locally owned, community-driven. Join them today. Everybody needs a good insurance plan. Whether it's for home or auto insurance, check out Heinbaugh Agency. Eric Heinbaugh is a local agent focused only on customer service, not sales. The Double Barrel Cafe is all about you, the amazing people of Cascade County. With every purchase you make, they give back to our community. Every bite and sip fuels their mission. Let's make a positive change, 1 cup and 1 bite at a time, because the Double Barrel is not just a cafe, they're building a better community. If you haven't noticed lately, Cascade County is booming, and the choice for all your construction needs is Builders First Source. They even have an automated home builders solution for all of your construction needs. Go to 826 Northwest Bypass in Great Falls and check them out today. Are you looking to replace those floors in your home? Or maybe you're doing new construction? The place I trust is Contract Flooring Carpet One. This is a locally owned and operated business here in Great Falls, and they are committed to serving you and giving you the very best prices and the very best product and service. Go see Contract Flooring Carpet One today. If you love a farm-to-table experience as much as I do, then you have to go to the Roadhouse Diner. The local McCafferty Ranch beef served on every burger. Try my personal favorite, Death by Bacon, today. When deciding who I would trust for the technology component of this podcast, the choice was simple: Information Systems of Montana. Whether purchasing products for business or when I had them build me a new MacBook to catch child predators, they delivered, creating a solution for my exact needs. Contact Information Systems of Montana today. If you're passionate about firearms and the Second Amendment like I am, one of the best places in all of Montana to go is Mitchell Supply. Jim and Tammy Mitchell have been running this gun store for decades. They're major supporters of the Second Amendment, and they're major supporters of our community. And obviously, they're supporters of this podcast. For all your firearms needs, go check out Mitchell Supply today. So we went to a break real quick, but when we did, you started talking about your app. So there's a lot of different fitness apps out there and a lot of different things going on. Tell me about yours.
Okay. And so our TimeFit app was established so that we could really dial into breaking the busy lifestyle. Okay. Giving people an opportunity to surpass the irregular hours, to surpass taking away from their family time, and to really, conquer that hectic schedule. And so me and my wife and our team put together an all-in-one fitness app where we're able to actually track all of your daily nutritional goals. So your calories, your protein, your carbs, your fats, which is actually set at the beginning when you put in your information. And so that will be at the top of like your dashboard, basically.
Right.
So you'll know exactly what your goals are so that you can stay on par. And then the cool thing about this is, with all the apps that are out there, and when me and Miranda were going through and trying to see what, was going to be a benefit and what functionality we were really going to go with, we wanted to go far and above with what we were seeing. And so now within our fitness app, for the workout side of things, they're going to be able to have different phases. There's 48 workouts in each phase, and they have to complete that phase before they go on to the next. So there is a progression theme to the methodology of our workouts. They'll have all of their workouts in order, and when they're actually able to click on the workout, there are some people that don't want to just follow the time, kind of like we were talking about earlier,
Right.
and that's just the truth, and we know that.
Yeah.
And so we actually programmed the capability of where you're actually you're able to log your reps and weights. And the whole idea is that if you were going to come back to that workout and you are looking for the progression, that you're able to track those specific reps and weights so that you could come back and be better. And you know exactly, how you're going to be able to progress from there. And
So just to kind of iterate here. So this is, we kind of off the air before we started talking, we kind of said a little bit by, what is it, MyFitnessPal or what was that app called?
MyFitnessPal is the one.
It's like a real common one, but I get really frustrated with that app when I try to use it.
Oh, I bet.
First of all, I feel like I'm really having to search for the foods and the calories and sometimes the brand name of what I'm looking for. And oftentimes they're not available.
Yeah.
So I have to guesstimate it. When I was looking through that, when you were showing me off air of what it could do, I was so impressed. There was everything you could think of was in there. We even looked up Chipotle and said, hey, if I ordered this meal fast food, what actually am I getting out of it? And then that you put literally, it's a personal trainer and nutritionist in your pocket.
Exactly.
Because you recorded all those videos.
100%.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a lot of time. This guy
had to
was
take-
recording for
And you
hours.
had to do it right every time. And I get it. People would probably say, well, yeah, you're a personal trainer. You're supposed to. But I don't care what you're doing when you're being recorded doing something.
Yeah.
That's intense. I mean, that's a lot of work.
And you pick yourself apart and you redo it a few times.
Absolutely. So how many videos do you think are in there total?
So there's 200 plus videos in there now.
Wow.
And we'll continue to build on that. And you will have the opportunity to go outside of our TimeFit program where we'll have, banded workouts, body weight workouts, HIIT workouts, and more strength-based, because we understand that not everybody using the app will use TimeFit, but that is going to be your main program. But you will also have opportunities to, work out with bands, depending on, if that's what you like or what your fitness ability is, or for more like yourself, more of the strength side of things. But the first program that will be launched in the app is the TimeFit program, where you see, all of our clients on social media or all of our progressive photos that we put out there to the world, they're all on our TimeFit program. So that's the one that we're really promoting so that, we're able to actually help these busy people, sustain their workouts in those 10 to 30 minute
Do you have
windows.
to be a member? Do you have to like physically go to your gym to be able to use this app?
No, anybody will be able to use this app all over the world.
So literally your gym membership for what your client base is going to multiply like crazy.
Oh yeah.
100%. That's the goal.
Yeah, so maybe I'm not familiar with fitness apps as much as I thought I was. But I've never seen an app anywhere close to that. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, that literally, I could download that app right now and have a program. I could be programmed instantly, whether it's nutrition, whether it's the workout, everything is all there.
in one.
Yep. And the cool thing is, especially kind of going back to like the nutritional component, there's an on-demand menu that has thousands and thousands and thousands of options so that, meal prep or understanding the ingredients or how to make it is all right there in front of you. Because think about how much time it takes to actually plan out your meals. Okay, what do we want? Well, now you and your family can sit down, look at the on-demand menu. You know exactly what you're getting at the store. And we even have all of the ingredients and the serving sizes based on the specific user so that it will actually help them hit their goals.
You kind of glazed over that the first time. Go back to that because you were talking about the dashboard and how individual person who goes on and gets the app, they'll set up their basically their stats, right? Their body weight, their goals, all those things.
Exactly.
And then everything on that app is then programmed for them to be successful.
100%.
So how does somebody make an app like this? Like, how did you guys do that?
So the process actually took me and Miranda over a year and a half. We've already tried several different platforms to put a full picture together, and the first two failed. The first two was not the whole picture on what me and her really wanted. Because if we were going to do this, we wanted to do it right and bring an app to the industry, which you said, it's very, there's already a ton of apps out there. So what's going to separate us from the rest? Well, having that nutrition, having the weight training side of it and the tracking all in one, it wasn't easily put together to where me and her could just do it ourselves. Because me and her tried that at first. So think about...
It's hard if you don't know how to do this
Think
stuff.
about the filming,
Frustrating.
the programming, our clients, our family, and everything else. I tried it twice, failed miserably, and I admit that. And the person that I really want to highlight first that put me on the right track is actually Jolene Schalper. She's a client of mine, one of my best friends, and she works for GFDA, and she introduced me into some of the free services that they provide. And when I was talking to her about my vision, she introduced me to a guy, his name's Rich Gannon. He would sit with me every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. for an hour or two and help me start to piece together my vision.
Yeah.
It started with a website, which didn't officially launch because, I told him at the end, I said, this only has few functionalities that I really want, and I really want to bring my vision to life. And so he actually helped me get in touch with a couple of app developers late last year, and we interviewed like 5 different app developer companies. And so he sat with me the whole process, got on the Google Meets with me, interviewed, and said, hey, this one's decent, or hey, we need to throw this one out or whatever.
That's awesome.
And he helped me narrow it down. And these are local people. And so the amount of opportunities, not just for our business, but other businesses in the local area, GFDA is a huge base for, knowledge and professionals that can help you, build your business. But Rich went far above and beyond. Like he was with me every step of the way, introduced me to a company out of Pennsylvania and New York. It's called WD Strategies. Joey DiGriani is the CEO. That's who I've been working with very closely on building this app. And when we were going through it, I told him my vision and my plan, and we started actually looking at different platforms that we could utilize so that we could start putting a lot of this functionality together. And once we started to label it down and input those functions, and then it was able to hold, then TimeFit, the app, came alive. And so, we hired a team. We started with GFDA. They introduced us to WD Strategies, and they have a team, wide-based team, like I said, in Pennsylvania and New York. And I've been working with them pretty closely for the last 3 months to finish the app and be able to launch in the next 7 to 10 days now. And as you saw, the completed project, it's taken me over 1.5 years to put this all together, to do all the videos, to be consistent, to keep my faith, to make sure that I'm putting in the right investments at the right time. Because if you don't try, like you said, if you don't try, how do you know?
Absolutely.
And my overall goal, and same with Miranda, our goal is to change the face of self-care for busy lives all over the world.
Yeah.
And even for you, and take no offense to this, I already know you're a hard sell because you're very knowledgeable and you're very, very keen on what you like. But for you to be able to tell me, hey man, I've never seen anything like this.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna get that app. I'm gonna use that app. There's no question about it. I see a bunch of stuff in there that's gonna make my basically health and nutrition way easier. Mm-hmm. And I'm super intrigued by it. And I like that one of the things that, we can't show everyone right now, and hopefully maybe when we, in post-production, we'll screenshot the app moving. But what I really hard for people to understand about what you guys are offering is in the dashboard, you have to load a ton of your information into there. And when you do, we talked about it's setting up your macros and everything else. And when you pull apart those nutrition plans, it had like something with broccoli in it. It was breaking down everything that's in a piece of broccoli.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Nothing breaks things down that far. But
super detailed.
Yeah, it's super detailed. But what I'm seeing out of that is that if you're on this, unless you're just totally cheating with your food and you're really not putting in there what you should, right? Then don't waste your money on the app because you're not really interested. But if you're actually seriously faithful and you're willing to, you really want to make progress, you have really real goals, it's a perfect app for that. I see a ton of things. I'm very interested in your time fitness program. I think that's a great for people on the go, people on the move. It really takes excuses out of a workout.
100%.
There's no, and then now that you could get it on an app
for a cheaper price, which is
well, right. It is. Now that you can get it on an app, you're like, well, okay, well, what excuses do you have now?
And the people that want to do our programs, but maybe couldn't have afforded it before.
Right.
Now they're able to do it in the app for a lot cheaper.
Oh, well, and here's another thing that I love that you guys are doing. I love this, okay? I could totally afford to be a client at your guys' gym. I completely can afford to do it. That's not my problem. My problem is logistics.
Yeah.
My problem is it's on the opposite end of town, which I don't go. Totally on the opposite end. I have a limited amount of time because I've got, work, wife, kids, the whole 9 yards, right? And so that's my struggle. But I'm totally into all the things that you guys are talking about. I'm like, oh gosh, this is a huge, and it's honestly logistics. It's honestly for me, it'd be one of those things that if you guys just were on the west side of town, I'd be like, oh, this is no brainer.
Yeah. And
because it's for me, the biggest struggle I have with fitness is the off task time. Mm-hmm. And we were so blessed. We got our county gave us a $25,000 rogue gym at our
wow.
It's everything on it's brand new.
That's amazing.
And it's phenomenal, right? So I can literally be in my office and work out.
It's perfect.
But what I miss is that connection. I miss that connection. I told you before we started that I train with Don Johnson a lot.
Yeah,
I miss that connection of that person pushing me, telling me what to do. I love to be coached.
Of course.
I prefer somebody just tell me what to do. So this is kind of like the best of both worlds because you could, but there's all these moms and dads out there who have a job. Some bosses they're not going to let you go work out on your lunch break. And if you have to drive far, You lose your lunch break and your drive time, or you're not willing to sacrifice time with your family after work because you're like, no, I'm not giving up that time. I pick up the kids.
Excuse too.
Right. Yeah. I pick up the kids. I bring them home. You know, my wife cooks. I walk in the door. Time for dinner. I mean, I'm not giving that up.
Oh, yeah.
So what I love about that is all those other excuses are gone now. That app totally takes all of them away because you literally, if you
that was his goal.
Yeah, that was my goal.
It's an amazing. It's funny when you told me. Sorry, I'll just be honest. When you first told me you had an app, I'm like, oh gosh, here we go.
Yeah.
But then when you showed me, I was like, no way.
Yeah.
Because I've used the other one we talked about. I've used that one. Yeah, whatever it is. I've used it and it works, but I find myself, I'm just spending so much time customizing everything to get it all in there, right? You know, like for example, if I went and shopped at Walmart, I could probably barcode most things in to kind of start myself.
Of course.
But if I go to 2J's, which I love 2J's, my daughter works there. I love that place. And so if I go in there, then like half the stuff I can't even get to come up on the, you know.
Yeah, they don't recognize it.
You know, it doesn't even exist because it's, you know, and so that's one of my big frustrations with that app. I looked at that. There was almost nothing on there that wasn't on the list.
Yeah.
Because I saw some weird like stuff that I'd never seen on other apps. So the amount of thought that went into that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations, guys. That's awesome.
Yeah, we've been working on it.
But that's the main theme though. I'm glad you said that because when people think of an app or a trainer or some type of workout program, they're like, oh, here we go again. You know, it's just going to fall right into the middle of the pack, basically. But we like that. We want you to think that. We want to be that underdog that shows you, hey, no, there's something more that, like we said earlier, hard work works.
Yeah, it does.
Me and Miranda have put our whole heart and soul into this app, into our business, and to continue to help this community. And we want to put this community on the fitness map. You know, this stemmed from Great Falls, Montana,
right?
A hometown kid. And I want to change the face of self-care for busy lives all over the world, man.
Well, we're lucky here, right? We don't live in a big city where we do, to go 15 miles, it's an hour.
Yeah.
We're lucky, right? But think about what that app's going to do for those people. I mean, a lot of those people, unless their gym is like connected to their building or in their office, they're not going to the gym.
Of course.
No. And
you know, it's just done.
A lot more people, I think, nowadays too, are working out from home.
Absolutely. Well, COVID. COVID flipped that switch.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was never going to work out from home prior to COVID ever. And the reason was I wanted to get away.
Yeah.
Of course.
I wanted to get away from distractions and everything. And, you know, I basically have a gym out here and I have a gym inside my house. And COVID kind of changed that because you just got to do it when you got to do it. You know,
It's true.
And that's amazing. And the other cool part about your business model that I like is it's resistant. I mean, I vow that we will never shut down businesses here ever again. But it's resistant to that type of governmental pressure because your business model could survive a pandemic because this app's so good.
100%.
Because not only would you already have a bunch of clients on it, but then you could transition your current clients who couldn't get to the gym to it.
On that, yeah.
And that's, from a smart business savvy thing, and I'm sure you guys thought of that. That's a great
He
model.
already has stuff in the works to actually try to get some corporate wellness plans going.
Oh my gosh, that's
and
amazing.
we started one so far. We'll see.
Jeremy Myers, Flawless Auto Body.
Yeah.
We spoke in front of his company last Saturday, and he's actually our first corporate wellness program.
That's amazing.
So we'll be embedding their employees into our wellness program to utilize the app. And then we've talked about some other things, maybe running some classes and whatnot. But
so that's exciting. The first one there. We'll see what else we can get
our
into.
Our overall goal is to, if other businesses or other corporations in the community see fit, that it would help their employees with productivity, energy, less bills on the health side of things.
Oh, absolutely.
Another write-off, whatever it may be. that
Sick days, workman's comp, all those
100%.
things. All those things.
Our overall goal is to help establish a better health and wellness program that suits anybody, that they could have on the go, whether they were, working day or night or whatever it may be, that it could help them actually get the self-care that they deserve. And so that's one of our bigger goals, and we'll be approaching that. But
there's all sorts of little things out there, like Medicare has like a free wellness thing where basically
100%.
you get like free gym memberships if you're, and then I know insurance companies give people breaks and give people all these things if they do that. And that app, what's cool about it is you could tap into a whole bunch of that stuff with that app.
Yeah.
So the sky's kind of the limit for you guys in that. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, I'm so excited for you guys. And I'm not just saying this because you're here today. When you started showing me everything, in fact, actually, when we were on the break for a minute, there was actually a moment where my brain froze over. If I would have been a computer, I would have been on load.
Yeah.
I was like, there's so much stuff in here.
Yeah.
But it's not.
pretty cool.
It's intuitive.
yeah,
And then talk to, you got to bring up this. This is really cool. You have like a little person on the bottom you can click on, and that gets direct to you for pointers and stuff. Talk about that.
So on every page of the app, if that's what you want to call it, we have a body icon where they can reach out to me or Miranda at any point. And the example that I was giving you earlier on break was they could actually live feed them doing the exercise, so that I could, if they were having trouble with their form, or they weren't getting the exercise and they had questions, they can send me a live feed video to where I could get it, re-coach them, give them some technique pointers or whatever it may be, so that they feel comfortable with our movements. Because our movements do test out your coordination, balance for a lot of people, and it's not just so easy right away. It takes effort.
Some of them can be thinkers.
But
like
we want you to think,
multiple
though,
movements.
because if you go into any type of business setting or in the gym or whatever it may be, and you're just like a robot, I mean, what good is coming from that? You're not learning anything. You're not really progressing. And so I want you to be intent with every movement that you do within the app, and also have my support, whether you're getting coached by me in the gym or you're just using the app anywhere in the world, basically, that you'll be able to have that access and send us, different videos. I can send you guys motivational stuff. We can put in PDFs, share updated progress photos. And so they have that communication, because we don't want to lose that. You touched on that with Don, why you went back and started training with the coach. You like that value of being able to interact with somebody. Well, that's your interaction with me, and you can see me through the video if need be. A lot of the community, it's a blessing that, we're so close and we can have you up to the gym. But for people that are across the U.S. or whatever, they can still have that interaction.
Right.
And then one component that we're still touching on, this is why we're not live today, is that AI component.
Yeah.
So we actually integrated an AI bot within the app that is actually taking from over like 400 nutritionists, all these different databases for, nutrition and macro and calorie needs. And when people input their information, if me and Miranda, we're not going to be able to do 1,000 meal plans in one day. It's impossible for just two people. This is why we're going to start looking at a team and building out a system. But the AI bot is actually able to answer those questions and pump out your macros and calories that you need to be successful based on the information that you're giving it.
That's amazing.
And there's ways where we can even start, integrating different meal plans based off of our full database and some of the other, information that we've plugged into the bot, so that it can give you like a meal plan if you needed it. And so that component, we're, fine tuning it.
Absolutely.
And that's what kind of is taking, the next 7 to 10 days. We're really testing it out. A lot of my clients have already been, looking at that, testing it, because we want it to be something that's going to, work for you right away.
Right.
We don't want to waste your time and say, hey, we have this, but it didn't work for you. We want to make sure that we, cross our T's, dot our I's, and that we provide you with a premium service that, is really going to help you. So
it's honestly, the app is so good. It's kind of overwhelming.
Thank you.
And to the fact that just here in little Great Falls, Montana, that you guys are able to come up with this just shows your drive and your passion and your entrepreneurship. I mean, holy cow. And that was actually the whole point of this podcast was we have to highlight all these amazing people here. I make this comment all the time. And I said, it feels like the whole world's crazy right now. And it really does. If you look at like what's happened in DC, if you look at what's happened overseas, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
And there's all this goofy stuff. And I think a lot of it, and we're not going to go down the road on any of it because it's like 3 podcasts just to talk about one thing. But I feel like Cascade County is like, there's like this biodome and we're in a bubble. And the people here are pretty normal and they're really good people. Like you guys talk about all these friends you made from running your business.
100%.
And they're all really good people.
Yes.
They're really earnest, good people. And I feel like we live in this, and just for me, what I do in my day job as the sheriff, I mean, I don't want to be sheriff anywhere else. I wouldn't want to be sheriff anywhere else.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to touch it. And then on top of it, I wouldn't be sheriff with my personality anywhere else. It just, you have to be a fit for your community and the community has to be a fit for you. And it was funny. I was talking to Tom Moore about it and we were talking about how it feels like that, but it feels like there's a ticking down shot clock on the ceiling and that bubble's going to break. But we as a community can keep it going. We can keep it going. And what's cool is like every time I bring someone on, especially people who are in business, small businesses especially, I learn something. I'm like, you're doing what? Mm-hmm. I mean, and people need to watch this and see this because they got to understand that this is real, that we are living kind of in a little, it's not perfect, but it's a little bit, compared to the rest of the world, it's a little bit of a utopia.
I think so.
I agree.
Coming from Washington, it's so different.
Absolutely.
The big city compared to here.
And you were overseas and you guys come from, but I think that's one of the reasons that you guys are so passionate is because you're protecting it because you've been other places. You've seen other things.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I lived in California in 1999. I was only there for 1 year, but California, it was Northern California, but
What
it was
part?
Chico.
Oh, okay.
It was just like Montana. Then
Not so much anymore.
it's not now, but it was like warm Montana. And I was like, this place is amazing, and a million other reasons that mostly God leading me back to here to be with my wife, I'm sure is a reason I came here. But, and I grew up in Los Angeles, and it's not anything like it was when I was a kid, nothing. And, I just look at what we have here and it's so good. And all this cool stuff that you guys are doing and your passion for this community is so strong. It's awesome. And I'm humbled by it, guys. It's really good stuff.
Thank
Great
you. We
stuff.
appreciate that.
Yeah, we really do.
try
Yeah,
to help everybody
The
that we
strength and
can.
integrity, though, that's here, what
Yeah.
I've realized being a small business owner, people get behind small businesses here.
They do.
They really support each
And
other.
we would not be where we're at all without the support of this community. I can tell you that. We would not even be close to what I just showed you without the people in this community believing in us first.
Absolutely.
To where we could actually then take it to another level and say, hey, we want to showcase what we have put together in the last year and a half. Yeah, there's a lot of outside support over the last, 5-6 months, but it started here.
Absolutely.
It started here, and there is a lot of strength.
That's so true. When I first came here, I had moved from Bozeman, but the year prior I was in California. So I came here and I hated it here.
I did at first. I honestly did. I was like, I need to get out
I
of
did
here.
when I was a kid.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to be any part of this. Like the downtown was failing. It was like most of the places were boarded up. It wasn't a fun place to be. There was nothing to do. And I was probably in my first 2 years here. It wasn't really until I met my wife that all of a sudden I was like, okay, well, this is going to be home. But even at first, when I first met my wife for probably another few years, I was like, well, until something better comes along, and then I'll convince my wife that we need to get out of here, and all
We
that.
talked about it too.
Yeah. And then here's the cool thing that happened. I wanted to go, and I thought I was gonna in all my heart and soul, but this community adopted me. Like literally, I was like an orphan person, and they were like, "No, this is your home." And I became the downtown police officer in like 2005, and that's when all those businesses they rallied around me. I was just a street cop. I wasn't anything important, and they were all running all these businesses, and they kind of rallied around me, and that's when it started. And then just every year that I've been here, the relationships you build here,
Of course.
it's like these are the best people in the world. And they adopted me. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, it was like, no, this is the greatest place on earth. They'll never leave. And you change, you do, I wish the weather was warmer. But that's about my only complaint.
With the small town, it's crazy how quick things go around and just word of mouth.
Oh, yeah.
And how it explodes.
Which is great for you guys.
Yeah.
100%.
It's not good for those people that don't do good things.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's great for you guys when you're doing great things. It's amazing.
Yeah.
No, that's super, super awesome. I am so proud of you guys. I really am. I mean, I think your story is good enough as it is. We could just stop there and then not talk about the future or where you're going. But I'm super curious where we're going.
Yeah. Me and Miranda have talked about it a lot. And, our passion is to help as many people all over the world as possible now that we have a service or a vehicle that can allow us to do that. But it doesn't just stop with fitness. There's a lot of different avenues that, me and her have talked about within real estate, other small businesses that we would like to open. But
Clothing.
I think the biggest thing for me right now is to really dial in with what's here, because I don't want to go too far ahead. Because if I start living too far into the future, I don't want to miss out on the people and the opportunities that are right here in front of me. And so, but we are looking at, expanding, looking at other trainers, looking at,
Different
a better facility. But at the same time, even our facility right now, it's amazing. It's amazing. This 1980s gym in the middle of nowhere, like I told you, it does its trick.
But people aren't there for the facility.
They're not.
So it's really,
they're
doesn't
there
even
just
matter.
because they enjoy the training, the results, but they are our family. And so the direction and where we're really going is, I don't know, it's really endless. There is no really tipping point. I can't put it into words right now because there's so
It's just
much
exciting.
going on right now. But like she said, clothing, I gave you a hat and, we're going to continue on with
Thank you so much.
our clothing line and some of the other things that we've been looking at. But, in the next year or so or whatever it may be, or what the good Lord, blesses us with, a facility where we could maybe even open up where there is a membership or we could have something that's, a lot bigger than what we're just doing right now for just a personal training business. I really want to be a strong face alongside my wife to help health and wellness in this town.
Right.
And I mean, it's, you're not going to outdo the Peak. Okay. The Peak is an extraordinary facility and that's not where our goal is, but we want a place where you can work out. It's more on the professional side of things. And like you said, spa or, massage or whatever. And you have different services there. We don't just want to be, working out.
Well, fitness is very personal.
Yeah.
And so it's a unique experience for every different person.
100%.
One of the things that I think you guys really are going to break the code on, right? You got all these people out there who know they need to get into fitness, but they're scared, right? They go into the gym, they're going to be judged, right?
That's a huge thing.
Or they just don't know where to start.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where to start. They're scrambling. Or this nutrition thing, I don't want to do it yet.
Too overwhelming.
Right.
Yeah.
But the cool part is the way you guys have set it up is I know that if they go to your business and do it, I know that they're not going to feel that way. But I also know now they've got the option of the app.
Yeah.
So they could do it in the privacy of their home and they could try it. It's like they could try it on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's like you guys became like the Stitch Fix for, what is that called? Stitch
Fix? Yeah, I think that's what it
You're the
is.
Stitch Fix for fitness. Like you can get it sent to your house, try it on, see if it works for you. And if you don't like it, you put it back in the box.
Yeah.
100%.
And that's super smart though, because a lot of people I think really struggle. And I think the anxiety, as we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
of going into that environment and starting that is so much that they're not even going to do it. But once they started, they'd be fine.
Yeah, they would. A lot of people don't realize that as long as you just go and go a few times, a lot of those people they're focusing on themselves. They're not there to look at you work out.
I think what you need to do is go to all the gyms in town. And if they buy your app and they say, oh, I started off on the Time Fitness app and now I need to go to a gym, you should get a kickback.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always open to it. I mean, you never know.
Because I think that's what's going to happen, though, is like people will get, because what'd you say, 48 workouts? It's like
Per phase.
Yeah.
per phase.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get a lot of people who get about workout 12 on the first phase and they'll go, okay, I'm just going to go to the gym now. I'm
Yeah.
ready to go.
Yeah.
And I mean, hopefully they go to
Kick
your
them
gym.
into gear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
100%.
hopefully they come see you guys, right? That's what you want. But then they could go to someone else.
Yeah.
You know.
Any gym in town, it doesn't matter.
Well,
But
the
as
cool-
long as they're able to have that access and we inspire them to work out, then we've reached our goal.
Well, the
because
other-
not everybody's going to come in, you know? And
Absolutely.
That's just the truth.
But here's the one thing you guys did that was super smart. They may go to the gym, but they can't give up the nutrition part. They still got to be accessing the app for that.
100%.
So you did it in a way that it's like, you're still not giving this up
Yeah.
because this worked for you. Don't give it up.
Yeah.
So no, that's
And
awesome.
how many apps do people have on their phone, period?
Oh, yeah.
That they pay for. Like
Oh.
they're,
That they don't use.
yeah.
Dozens.
And then yeah.
Oh, man.
And-
Dozens. Like once a month I go through and I
I have
cancel
to do the same
stuff.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
seriously.
I'm like, why did I get that? Why did I get that?
yeah. But
But hopefully we've built out something that will sustain the user
Yeah.
and that we will continuously improve that. And, you know, only God knows, man.
Absolutely.
You know, he will lead us in the right direction. So
You guys are set up at the right time because there's some big things coming. You guys know about the Sentinel Project coming into town.
Yep.
I mean, I heard 88 billion. Now I heard 97 billion dollars is going to get spent. I have no idea if those numbers are right. They had a big town hall last night about it, and they started talking about it. And the estimates anywhere from 3,000 to 10,000 people. They're going to build a city between here and Belt.
yeah.
They're gonna. I heard they're gonna look for people to operate a gym. That's one thing that's gonna be involved in that. So the opportunities for you guys are gonna be coming up are gonna be huge because they're gonna bring their families,
100%.
and their families are, you know, even if it's not them, if they're too busy working, their families are gonna need fitness and need something.
Very
so
true.
one of the things that just kind of came on the tip of my brain while we were talking all about this, and believe me, trust me, with my brain, that's a lot.
Going everywhere.
I got to thinking about something, and what if I have a kid and they're a gifted athlete, and I'm like, hey, you know, I'm trying to, you know, get them to dunk a basketball or, you know, whatever, you know, thing. Are you guys going to be in that, you know, niche market eventually? Because that's kind of a like they call it like a lot of ex-professional athletes take this on. And
He's
they do
worked
that.
with a lot of
Yeah.
I work
kids
with a lot of
that-
youth, yes.
Yeah.
So every summer I invite, you know, youth athletes or anybody really to come in and take classes with me and Miranda. And we can take them through certain workouts. But I have put together, this happened last summer, where it was an athletic program for quite a few athletes that would come into the gym, you know, 2-3 times a week, based on their schedule or whatever. And we ran a strength training program, but then we worked on a lot of speed and agility. Speed and agility is like my cup of tea, you know, especially being an soccer player or whatever. And, you know, we were able to run a lot of athletic training. And, you know, I'm always open to, you know, give back to the community because when I was a kid, I would have loved that.
Yeah,
I would have
absolutely.
loved to have somebody, you know, that is a positive in my life, and that can teach me the intensity or the training that can help, you know, evolve my my performance. You know,
Absolutely.
that's super important. But
with school and our schedule and how we're limited with just me and Miranda at the moment, it's something that I'm only doing in the summers because of how busy we actually are.
Yeah.
But that's a good time to do it because most, especially kids that get out of middle school and high school, that's their that's when they have to train.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, we used to go down to hit the gymnasium at like 10 in the morning, and we were shooting basketball. Then we go out and throw the football. Then we do sprints. Then we go and lift weights. And at 7, 8 o'clock at night, you went home. And that's what we did every day of the summer when I was a kid growing up. But we were kind of left to our own devices. I mean, they'd give us our football coaches would give us a strength training program, like so you knew which lifts you had to do each day, right?
That's typical.
Yeah, and every once in a while in the gym, like the basketball coaches would come in and walk around and talk to you and, you know, give you some pointers. But you were kind of left to your own devices. And I think that today's day and age, I think there's a lot of parents out there that would be willing to spend the money to say, hey, no, how do I get a real program for my kid that is really going to put them, you know, and you know what I would have loved when I was a kid is to walk in with the strength coach program from your high school and go, how do I beat this? Because you know that everybody else in the state is working off that same roadmap.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they go to coaches' conferences and they're like, hey,
Do
this is what you do, right? Because
exactly.
they're all teachers and they're all full-time teachers, part-time coaches, right? And it would be a huge advantage. Like if I was a parent, I would like want to come to someone like you and say, hey, see this program? How do I beat everyone who's doing that right now?
100%.
And this is the position I play, and these are my weight goals, and this is what I have to be able to do, or whatever, or my speed and agility goals.
Yeah. No, that, yes.
That's the main
Teach me
thing.
how to get me to a 4.40, you know, that type of
gosh.
thing.
Well, speed is a gift for
It is.
sure.
It is a gift.
I mean, there are several different, training programs to build that speed, but I mean, it's a God-given
It
gift
is.
for sure. I mean,
No, it is. That is one of the kind of things you're kind of born with. You can enhance it.
you
but-
can.
The first time I saw this guy run, I was like, are you serious? He can sprint like no other. And he was like, oh, I'm not even conditioned. You should see me on my on
Oh,
times.
gosh. The
I was like,
flex. Oh,
I'm like, oh, okay.
trying to be the cool guy. Oh,
See,
man.
I can sprint actually a lot, except for it just looks like jogging.
Yeah. But I'm super fast in my mind.
That's awesome.
Well, every once in a while, I just crank the treadmill to full max, and then you just have to hang on.
Yeah, you do.
You got no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you
Fall
turn it
or
off
do
really
it.
fast.
There you go. That's how you get faster.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, I did everything when I was in school. I did the parachutes.
Did you?
Remember you ran with the
Yeah.
parachutes, and then I did the bungees where you resistance
Okay.
against. I did all that stuff.
Yeah.
All this, it didn't help.
Yeah.
Were you running with parachutes?
Overseas, yeah.
Yeah.
That was like a piece of equipment we would utilize. But a lot of it, in all honesty, was working on fast twitch muscles, bearing weight, and being able to like push that a little bit further. And so, speed is very, very interesting, I think. And it can be quite complex too. But just having like a parachute and you're running against resistance, I mean, it's one thing to sell like a product like that, but it's another to actually start implementing some of these weighted fast twitch movements that will build your strength and speed over time when you're
Absolutely.
consistent with it. But then it's just like anything else, you need to be disciplined to actually do it consistently.
Yeah.
Okay? Because if you sit or you're not doing it consistently, it will fade off. I don't care who you are.
Absolutely.
Like even with me right now, I am pretty fast, but I am nowhere near as fast as I was when I was like playing overseas. I can guarantee you that.
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's just like anything. It's a very perishable skill.
Oh, yeah. I hope I never have to run from a bad guy because it's not going to be good.
And then you just got it's all technique at a certain
It's not my
point.
strong suit.
It was,
fight him.
No, it's a
You're gonna fall to
challenge
the
it
trip
does.
and run. Trip and run.
Trip and- there you go.
I'm just kidding.
Just do that. Guys, I really, really thank you so much for coming on. I so appreciate it. So before we go, I really want to know, how does someone get a hold of you right now? Like they're watching this and they're like, I'm ready to go. What do they do?
So they can get a hold of us through any social media platform.
Okay.
By Fit Familia.
Okay.
And I'll even.
What are you on? Tell me.
So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Twitter.
No, not on Twitter. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I think that's it.
Okay.
What's that other one? Oh, I guess you're not on that one yet.
Yeah, I should be on YouTube. I'm gonna pick your mind on
Okay.
that a
Yeah.
little bit.
All right. Sounds good. And then do you have a website?
So our site will be finished as soon as we launch our app.
Okay,
because
cool.
that is going to be the main streamline of how people actually purchase the app.
And then what is your app called again?
Time Fit.
Time Fit.
Yep.
And then they go into the app store, and how do they purchase the app?
So they can get they're going to actually be directed towards our site.
Okay.
So that's how we've had it set up. So they'll actually click on the specific link, whether they're Google Play or Apple or whatever it may be from our site, and then they can go in and purchase it from our website.
So-
we went away from the actual store purchase,
Okay.
because they take 30%.
Oh, wow! I
Which
didn't
is
know
quite a
that.
bit.
Everybody out there who's listening, that's a by the way, good hustle.
Yeah.
That's a good. 30%'s a lot.
Yeah, they take up to 30%.
Do you think you'll ever go to that at some point if it gets big enough and you're
I mean,
pushing?
maybe.
it's in the stores.
Oh, it is in the
Yeah,
stores.
when they
Okay.
click on the link, it will take them to the store to download it.
Oh, okay.
But to actually purchase and access everything, we want to direct them towards our site.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that's brilliant. So you don't have to miss out on not finding the easy. But you were saying, what do you call it in the store?
Oh, you probably want to search Time Fit by Fit Familia.
Okay.
The app is called Time Fit, but when you search it on there, you'll find it.
And
by
we
that.
will try to put a screenshot of what the app looks like on here so
Yeah.
everyone can see it.
Not a problem.
Can they call you guys?
Yeah.
Is there a number?
Yeah. So 406-781-9188.
Awesome.
You can get a hold of us at any time. And if I didn't answer at that specific time, then you can just leave me a message and I will get back to you. So.
What's your street address? Where are you guys at?
So we're at 5907 2nd Avenue North. We are in a gated
area.
lot.
Okay.
So we are in a gated lot. And so you would have to pass that gate and then park right in front of Fit Familia Gym. But if you plugged in all state signs, we're connected right to them.
right.
Okay. Awesome. So for GPS purposes and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
You could even search all state signs.
That's awesome. So what should somebody do who's watching this and is like, hey, I'm ready to go? What should they do to prepare, and what should they bring?
So to prepare, just a positive mindset, knowing that, you're walking into an opportunity to change your life.
Okay.
And just bring your shoes, your
Gym clothes.
and just be ready to, hopefully maximize your results and become a huge part of our family. So,
Awesome. Is there anything you guys want to add?
well, I just want to thank you for bringing us on the show.
Absolutely.
We truly appreciate your time and being able to tell a piece of our story. About our relationship, our business, and our mindset behind health and wellness. And we're really looking forward to seeing this video completed and going out to the world.
Absolutely.
And we'll definitely be back. We really appreciate
Awesome.
it.
I want to have you back.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. God bless.
Yeah, God
Thank you
bless
so
guys.
much.
Thank you so much. Hey, everybody. Jesse Slaughter with the Pursuit Podcast. And we really appreciate the amazing support already that this channel has received. Our social media is blowing up. Everywhere we look, people are liking and clicking and commenting. But what we really need you to do is subscribe to our Facebook page and follow us on Spotify. That's what drives this channel. That's what's going to keep this channel going forever. Tim and Ben are behind the scenes doing tireless editing, working on this to make this come out the way it does, this high quality product that it is. So please go in there, click subscribe, click follow, and make sure that this channel sticks around for a long time, because we truly believe it's doing a lot of great things for our community. But there's many, many other people out there who we need to support. So follow and subscribe today. Thank you.